Yeah.
Where did Hartman just go?
Well, he does that a lot. Welcome, everybody. We are super prepared, as you can tell. Welcome to Saturday Night Special. We've got Mr. Ear Infection himself showing up. But you know what? This should help me a lot. So stick around. I'm going to get this show rolling. We've got some funny stories. We've got a guest. We've got our worst and best covers, movie wars, cartoon wars. So let's get this show on the road. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, 32 seconds. Oh, you're past it. You're good. How do I turn the lights on in this place?
Went back to the original intro. The HR
is in the house, so
the HR Deputy Marco Stick, I think, has run its course.
You guys are all gonna get your handbook soon, believe me.
So how is everybody tonight?
Good.
Doing good.
The question is, how are you, Kyle? How are you holding up? Kyle Kyle let us all know he's fighting an ear infection.
Dude, there's nothing worse than that like throbbing pain in your face. I can't hear out of my left ear. It hurts to eat. It hurts everything.
Just, hey,
your beard hurts.
What's the thing that you do? What's the thing? The vape? The thing, yeah. Probably not helping you out at all, bro. Just to let you know. I mean,
definitely not.
Any little thing I need helps.
When I used to smoke grits, like people used to always say that all the time. Oh, yeah, you got bronchitis. Probably not helping you out there, bro. Like, yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. Appreciate that one. What's going on, guys?
Welcome, Ed. Hey, those are iconic curtains back there, sir.
Who's making fun of your curtains? They're legendary.
They're iconic. They're legendary. They're the shit.
They're classics from Chapels.
Who was the one person? Remember that? God, years ago, when we used to do that other show, it was like our third show, and somebody came in and said, like, tried dogging the curtains right off the bat. I can't remember who that was. Was it our? Must have been one of the people we're interviewing. They're like, they thought it was green screen. I was like, it's not. You can't get that shit in green screen, bro. Like that shit don't work. Hey, Ed, what's good?
It's part of the staple of the Kyle.
It is. It's nice. I like it. It's definitely something, dude. It's a color.
When you made your first comic book appearance, didn't they have the curtain behind you?
It's gonna be it right there.
Oh yeah, you were in a comic, weren't you?
It never got like it just dissolved. It never got to that issue.
Oh really?
They did the sketches.
Yeah, I remember the sketches.
Yeah, no, he never sent the sketches, nothing. But yeah, he sent us like the preliminary sketches of it, and
yeah,
then, like,
I remember that.
It dissolved. Never. I was so bummed.
Oh, he never made it to print.
I never made it to print.
Who's the strongest Avenger?
I am.
Oh.
Thor is the strongest Avenger.
Okay.
No, I think it's Hulk.
No, his name is crossed out. You can see that right there.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. According to the password in Ragnarok, it's not Hulk.
So, how do you? Can I ask you a question?
Always,
please. Okay. If you go into a comic book store, they call themselves a comic book store, and all they have is like 5 exclusives. No weekly comics. They've maybe got 10 total comic books, and maybe 5 of them still are there from Wednesday, and then their back stock is like maybe 15 long boxes, and they're in like a huge. I'm talking like 2,000 square foot building. Wow. Would you consider that a comic book shop?
It sounds like one of those like pop-ups.
Oh, it isn't though.
It's like a booth. It's like a booth at a Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's about as many comics as there. Like, I think I bring more. If I do a 1-table booth, I think I bring as many comics to a 1-table booth as they have in the whole store. Like at that point, don't you just call yourself like a, I don't know, like a card store or like a whatever other junk they're selling there.
Pop-up shop.
Well, it's not a pop-up shop because they've been there. It was funny, Sticks. I caught it. Pop-up shop selling pops.
So is there other stuff in the store besides comics?
Oh yeah, there's all types of shit. They sell you could get food in there. You can get you can play video games, you can play air hockey. They've got like $7,000 statues. You know, they've got some cards and shit.
Sounds like a place to hang out.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. It sounds like the kids' room in the movie Toy.
Yeah,
kind of.
You know, video games in one corner. You get the Wonder Wheel going down around the corner.
If it had a bunk bed, I would think it was more of the.
Well, this is the only problem that I find like fascinating about the place is like, so they've got like you know these statues that cost, you know which ones I'm talking about, the ones that cost like 500, not like sideshow, whatever it is. It's
the life size ones.
Yeah, they're fucking enormous. They're like a couple $1,000 all the way to like $600 starting off. They must have like 20 of these things around this place. And then they got a bunch of signs that say, do not touch, like little dicky things that just say, do not. Why? Oh, yeah. Why not put it in a display case? Why not even like, why do you have it out of the fucking box? Like that seems like a custom type scenario, right?
Right.
There used to be a restaurant here that had all these.
Hold on. Go ahead. Hardman, how many weeks has it been that you've been on the show? How can you still not figure out StreamYard, bro? You're muted. Unmute. Unmute.
Joe, can you hear us? Hey.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. That's not the case, Ed. It's not a case. Maybe I'll do there's some insight I have.
There was a place in Arizona where they had, it was like a restaurant, but it was like they had life-size statues of, you know, comic book characters and stuff like that, and it was all these statues from like Mexico where they don't get in trouble for, you know, like likeness rights, and they all over. And I don't know whatever happened. Sam, do you know what happened to that store? That restaurant?
Bootleg didn't last. It didn't last. It was up in Desert Ridge. It didn't last.
Dude, I love bootleg stores. They don't have them out here anymore. There's a big raid. There's a place that they used to. Yeah, I know, right, Joe? So there used to be this place called, what the hell is it? Gibraltar Trade Center, and it is downriver in Taylor, and there's one on the east side too. But it is all of what you think, like whatever the stereotypical inside Midwestern flea market would be. Like the heat doesn't always work. There's a bunch of like bootleg everything. Like almost 90% of the stalls are bootleg, filled with bootleg shit. VHSs, DVDs, swords, creams, whatever, beauty products. Yeah, like a swap meet. Yeah, West Coast. Like on the West Coast, a swap meet. Yeah, flea market over here, swap meet on the West Coast for you. So it's like exactly like that, but it's in a fucking building. And the year we had Stanley at one of the things, they had gone in, and the ATF came in, and like, I mean, just garbage. Like it was like cockroaches. Out of place, people throwing shit at the agents, running everywhere. Shit's going crazy. They're just had, dude. Dude, it was the craziest shit because you would like watch what was going on.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, Snorty. Dude, I used to love the place though because you always go there. I mean, it was cool because like that was it. Like you go and you'd be like, oh, let's go look at some bootleg electronic, because like these people, God bless them. I mean, they spend a lot of like time, but like there'd be junk stuff. Like you could go get video gaming controllers down there and shit, because all they would do is like somebody would come in and they had done a buyout or something and they would just throw it. I mean, it's technically supposed to be a booth, but let's be real. They just throw it on the ground, right? And you're like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to dig through a pile of shit. Like who gives a shit? Like you got some time. I mean, it sucks in the wintertime because it's cold. And like the heat wasn't on stuff, but the day that the ATF came, or was it the ATF? Yeah, it had to have been. Oh my god, dude! Like those people never move fast at all. And I get it because it's cold and you're hauling stuff in. But holy shit, were they scrambling? And then like it looked like a fucking it looked like trash day because all they didn't have enough of the containers to confiscate stuff because there was so much shit that they ended up just starting. Hartman, how many of these Hartman things are you doing, bud? It's okay. So they just start doing like big black trash bags, throwing everything into huge ass trash bags, just going through it. And they were trying to write people fines and stuff. And like they're trying to stop people, and they're like, I don't have IDs. All of a sudden, people stop speaking English. Like shit was getting wild, dude. Wild. They confiscated like bootleg Legos. I remember because bootleg Legos were huge at the time. Like, all the minifigures, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it was crazy. Oh man, dude, it was crazy. It was crazy. They put this one dude. There was this dude that used to be like the king of bootleg DVDs. He went to jail. That's
I remember Mexico's not far from Phoenix. It's just a few hour drive.
So we hear.
And I would go with my mom and stuff. We'd go there for the day to buy stuff. And I remember I was like,
can you hear me?
Oh Jesus Christ!
I can hear you.
What the?
I was probably like 12 years old, and I was so proud because I bought a Folex.
Oh, nice! Yes.
It was
awesome.
I was so proud because it had like fake diamonds in it, and you could turn.
Oh yeah.
It was like it said like Folex on it. I was so stoked.
Yeah, that was the other. Yeah, lots of fake jewelry, dude. That sucks. That place is closed now. It wasn't because of that. They eventually closed down because, eventually it closed down because after you bust all the people that are selling bootleg stuff, like,
Can you hear me now?
Oh my god.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Is that loud?
No, you're good. I used to go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's loud. Shit, it's loud.
Is it?
Jesus. Go ahead,
Yep.
Kyle.
I used to go to the swap meet here. That's where I would get my band T-shirts, and I would get my my Pearl Jam and Red Hot Chili Pepper bootleg tapes.
Yeah, the tapes
because they were cheap. They were only a few bucks, and I didn't. I couldn't afford to go to the record shop.
Were they taped off Mexican radio? So you had to get the Mexican commercials in the corner.
Yeah.
Dude, remember that?
Did
you ever? You guys, you guys tape. Did you guys ever tape right off the radio?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every Sunday, X103.
Top 10. That's funny. And then you'd bootleg it because then somebody would have the double one. They'd have the double one, and then you could tape and you could sell them for like $3. You could sell the pretty much you're selling the radio station, right? You're selling their top 10 thing. So
here's a good one for you, Mark.
When what's that pirate fucking? We're used to Pirate Bay. I remember the new Deftones song at the time was called Minerva, and I downloaded it and I got it and I started listening to it. It's still in my iPhone today, and it goes, "It's a new song by Deftones
Right?
on K-Rock. It's Minerva," and it's still the version that I listen to today. It's in my iPhone right now.
It's either impressive or lazy.
Tyson, Matt is out. He is celebrating his daughter's first birthday. It's I don't know. I guess it's like a 3-day extravaganza or something. So,
it's Logan.
She turned 1 about a month and a half ago. He's still celebrating.
Well, when you have devil spawns, I mean, what do you do for a devil spawn?
He's not doing SNS tonight.
So, Marco, I had one for you when you're talking about dubbing off the TV. Yeah. So when we would go on long vacations back in the day, I had a 3-volume cassette tape. Now I didn't have the radio version. I had taped Star Wars from the TV onto an audio cassette.
Oh yeah. That's
one small step for man.
So as we were driving along, I would listen to it on my Walkman.
Yeah. So what I got one day so I could sell these bootleg tapes was they used to make a TV, and it was like a TV that was only like this big. It was like green and white, black and white, and they would have the dual recorder on it, right? So same thing. So that's exact. Yeah. So I would plug it in, and we only get 4 channels, but UGN was one of them, or WGN, the Chicago affiliate, the Superstation.
Right.
So they had all types. So that's why I would. It was the only Christmas gift I got that year, and I would bootleg the shit out of that stuff and then sell those cassettes. So people would listen. They would seriously listen to TV shows that you bootlegged from a TV show. That's what they listened to. You could sell them for a couple bucks a piece, which was nice.
I remember when I worked construction, I had this it wasn't a tape player, but it was like a radio, but it would pick up. It also would get TV stations.
We should see if we can get pictures of this stuff so we can.
So I would listen to. I remember I would listen to Cops on it, and most of it was. yeah. All you could hear was like the cameraman running and breathing.
Keep breathing.
I listened to it like noon.
Well, Sticks would probably know this because Sticks was probably driving at the time. But in the 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yep.
You know, you either listen to that crazy dude drop the mic down the hole and say it's a demon spawn or aliens were probing him or whatever. Or the other channel that was on all the time was they would, in the Midwest, they would literally play the syndicated shows. There's 2 channels that would play syndicated television on the radio. So like Cops, like you'd get everything, including like everything except for the commercials. It was their own commercials, but pretty much you'd get the TV. So you know what was on TV, right? Sticks, you've heard this before. I don't know. I don't think they do it anymore. There's no way they do that shit anymore.
You know, I still have one of those radios that you can get the TV on them, but I have never used it in the last.
Oh no, I'm saying like your stereo on your truck or your car, it would be like.
See, I remember like Art Bell. Are you talking like Art Bell? And
no, but yeah, even around Art Bell. So wherever Art Bell's channel was locally for us in the Midwest, there were 2 channels. Probably. Yeah, there are 2 channels by it. So I think he was like, let's say he was 890 or whatever, right? 910 and 930 were literally somebody was broadcasting channel 2 from the television, and somebody else was broadcasting like channel 6. So like, let's say it'd be like, okay, let's say it's 7 o'clock. It'd be like, this is the channel 2 news. As you can see, we're at a traffic accident. Tanya, what does it look like out there at the car? She's like, look at this car crash over here. They're stealing from a Hardee's over here. And you're like, you can't see anything, but it's like, it's the television broadcast that they were showing. So like when Art Bell would get boring, sometimes you turn it over. What?
Nobody steals from Hardee's.
Yeah. They got all the meats. They got
on the Hardee's. The Hardee's staff is going to steal from you.
Oh, dude, no! If you've never seen them Hardy Boys before, which is actually they use an actual newsreel from a Hardee's that somebody tried to rob in Michigan, and then the employees went out there and like they'll track the person down. But they took that and they do like a little. There's a guy who does some comedy on it, and if you've never seen them Hardy Boys before, make sure you watch that. It's pretty funny.
I'll have to check that one out.
You guys ever watch it? But like, I watched On Patrol Live. It's on Reels. It's like it's live PD, but they moved to the channel. Okay. And last night, this dude got pissed about his Papa John's order, so he threw the fucking pizza at him and he pulled a gun on him, and then ran out and left. And then so the cops came and the dude's like, the guy that works there's like, he ordered it on Uber Eats, so we have his name and address and everything. Like,
oh, how dumb are you, dude?
He like
what state was this in?
Yeah, he had it brought back, and it's like dumbass. I love it.
It had to be Florida, right?
It's Michigan.
Florida man goes on.
Yeah,
no, it was South Carolina.
Well,
that's why. Like I was always like, when's Cops going to come to Detroit? You ever notice it was never? You're like, oh,
there's no Cops left in Detroit.
There is. But, you know, you'd always see it. And then later on, I found out, oh, well, they take it to like where they're going to find the craziest human beings that don't care to sign the waiver that they're on there. So.
Patrols with sticks.
With sticks? What's that?
It's one of the dudes. It's one of the cops on there. His name's Sticks.
Yeah, sure.
They got 2 cops and a host, and then it's live. So they just switch between all these different.
How the hell did we go from what do you think if this is a comic book shop or not to
On Patrol?
On Patrol. Like, I don't know how that works. Dude,
rewind the tape. Let's start over.
You know what we should do? We should actually have people. We should actually have people take pictures of like their local areas and ask us if we think it's a swap meet or a comic book store. That could work. That would be funny. Like, what is this? Is it? Are you laundering money here? Are you? We got a local place that's supposed to be an ice cream shop. Now, mind you, I live off a lake, a private lake that's got a beach, a public beach in the area. There's a shop across the way. Only building there. Hookah in the back that's never been open. Front is supposed to be a ice cream shop. It sells ice cream one day a year there.
Did you still go to the Ace Hardware that sells comics?
I should go back there. It's still there. No, so I found another place too. I didn't take a picture. I need to go in there, but I'm scared because there's no windows. So like,
no, that's a massage parlor.
Yeah, no, there's this like gray building. It's by this expressway. There's this gray building. By it, there's like alleys, right? So, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to like, my kids are getting older and stuff too, and my wife's like, you can't be taking so many risks, like going into unmarked buildings and going some of these like back of trucks to buy comics. Like, you gotta be a little bit more careful about what you're doing. So it's like a gray. Oh, I should take a picture. It's a gray building, no windows, and all it says, it's got a banner that says, "We now sell comics." That's it, dude.
Go in just for the fact, am I gonna come out of this place?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know I used to do that, like the Ace Hardware. That's a famous story. Like I was like, oh, wait a minute, you're ever? Of course, I the hunting in the back of the truck, all that type of stuff. Like I don't typically mind that, but I was like, yeah, I think this one might be pushing my luck. Like that seems like Hey Kids Candy, and it's a van with no windows on it. Like this seems like something that's not going to go well.
We used to have a comic shop that was like kitty corner from the strip club, so they had some good clientele over there.
Comics, look at the boobies. It's like a win-win.
Yeah, that's not that out of hand.
Places open up a comic book topless bar.
And so comic shop
in, and you can get a lap dance. You can then buy some comics, and then you can go about your day.
See, I'm a big proponent of, if you're going to sell comics, no food and no transmitted diseases. Like those are two things I'm kind of against. Bodily fluids shouldn't be anywhere near comics. Neither should food products. So like if you're selling food products or you have any type of bodily fluids being transmitted, at that point, I'm not buying comics. I'm just not. I'm not.
Yeah. I always wanted to open. This is for real.
I put Band-Aids on the nipples at our strip club.
I always wanted to open up a comic book bar. So like half of it was a bar where they had like, so all the waitresses, women waitresses, because I'm not going to hire any men bartenders. And they all, they have to wear superhero related short shirts and stuff. The screens will not play fucking sports. It'll only be playing
the Avengers,
pop culture related shit.
6 months you're out of business. I give that maybe 6 months before you're like
the other half of the shop. It's still a bar.
Go back to the topless. Just have them walk around selling the comics.
The topless has got more of an odds of selling.
You know what, Kyle? Here's the name for it. You call it Kyle Yodi Ugly.
But yeah, you could buy a couple comics. You could walk into the bar, read your comics, do a few shots, hang out.
Oh, they actually send it back as I've gotten this before. This is why I pre-screen a lot of comics. Unidentified foreign substance on the cover. Yeah. Do you think about that? I fucking sent in some books and it came back. Zantana. Speaking of that, we have a guest today. Zantana cover. The AH, because I used to always buy those. Like I buy the whole set of them out. Sent one in. I got out of a collection and it came back. Unidentified substance on the cover.
Maybe it was alien.
Which is kind of bullshit because we press in our book, even back then so we knew that there wasn't. So now I'm thinking like, did one of the guys at CGC go, hey, lunch break, I'm going to take this one with me and grade it. You know what I mean?
Ketchup or mustard stain on the cover?
Yeah, it wasn't ketchup or mustard. I think it was a mayonnaise stain, probably, because we then put it on there. Because afterwards, because where we do our pressing, we have lights there, so it goes through a process. Like it always had. We've done it. Like Sean's anal is shit. He's like,
you put the black light on it.
Yeah, he's got the whole
hotel room on this cover.
So afterwards, there's like three marks on somebody. Good job. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe they wiped it off.
So I guess the question is, did you send it in February when it was February $5 footlongs at Subway?
This was probably, by the way, we're talking about 6-7 years ago too, mind you. So like, yeah, I don't know if they had February or whatever there, but yeah.
Okay, I found a Straight Adventure 205 First Dead Man in a stack of old magazines. So I asked how much the whole stack.
Good find.
Nice. I love that book too. Ah, nice. Good job.
Reminds me of like, like How I Met Brian McClay. Was there a dude, and I've told this story before, but there was a dude it was at a coin and card show. So he would have one table that would have like coins on it, and then the rest of it would be nothing but comics. And he wouldn't go through it. He would buy a collection and then he would bring it. And then so like we were the first people to be able to get to go through it. So like, and I remember it caught on, and there wasn't a lot of people, but it was enough that like it was kind of a fight.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where like we'd help him bring all his comics in, and everybody would like stand in front of a box.
Right. Yeah.
So that you claim the box that you're gonna like.
Oh my god, the worst. Yeah. Right.
But it was awesome because then he would go off of like an old Overstreet and then cut the price in half.
Nice.
That's how I found like my third print Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1.
Oh, nice.
And it sucked because it was an awesome run in Ninja Turtles, and I didn't have enough money to buy them all, so I could only buy up to a point. And this other motherfucker walked in and bought the rest, and I was pissed. But that's how I got like, I got like a lot of I got like a third print #1, a fifth print #1, 2, 3, you know what I mean? It was awesome, but like that's where I got like a lot of my keys because I'd pull out these keys and then he'd be like, and I remember I'd have all these books, I'd wince like, and he'd be like, like First Black Cat and stuff, and I'd wince because I'm like, God, I don't have much money. He'd be like, $27, and I'd be like, are you sure? Fuck yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you very much. So last one, but like at another flea market, I don't know if he's still there. I refuse to go there anymore. But this guy was a chiropractor masseuse, and he sold comic books. And he did the same thing. The problem was you had to wait because if he had somebody what he'd do is he'd only bring like 5 or 6 long boxes at the time. And so think about a swap meet inside a building, right? And then think about if somebody had like set themselves up what a booth would look like, right? Like a Comic-Con, I guess, or whatever, but they're like very kind of, and then there's a massage / chiropractic table like in the middle of it, right? And then so he would pull some books up, and he'd have some comics against the wall or whatever. So he'd pull it up and he'd pull one box at a time. You're allowed to go through one box at a time. The problem was if one of his clients came by, like
because he had to give him a happy ending before he'd take care of
he'd take the comic books out, even the ones you're looking at, and put them down and say come back in like 34.
Cool if you know how a lot of the massage tables have like a
pull the curtain across.
He did. No, it's got that. And
then you can look as he's massaging you. It's like a twofer.
I'm not letting this dude. He'd be like, one of my clients is coming in. Like then he started warning us, like, oh, my client's coming in 2 minutes. I'm like literally. Like client, like what the hell, dude? This is like you're at a flea market. What are we doing here?
It just draws the curtain, man. Everything's legal,
bro.
Legal. Just pull that curtain back. Everything's legal.
Does he have? I gotta ask. Let me hold on. Let me text.
He's already here.
Let me text to see if he had a curtain. Hold on. But no, I don't remember a curtain. I stopped going after a while, dude. I was just like they would sit there for hours and wait around. I'm like the deals aren't even. They were good. Nowadays they would be like astronomical, but like. Back then, you could go other places and find like. I went down to this other guy who just he was a hoarder, but his wife, because they couldn't even get out the door, would make him bring stuff in. So he came in with a shopping cart one time, and it had the whole run of Why the Last Man. Like I just like, okay, how much? He's like $1 a book. I was like, well, what if I buy the whole thing? He's like $30. And that's like there's a lot of issues in that. So we just started throwing stuff into the cart, and we just took the whole shopping cart with. I mean, I think we spent like $300-400 there, and we're like, because it's only open on the weekend or whatever, and we're like, can we just come over during like? He's like, no, my wife won't let anybody come over.
Dude, a shopping cart full of comics.
Oh yeah, because he was in the way back, so there's like ramps. I could be talking these shady places all the time. There's like all these ramps, so you had to like get all the way, and you had to go through like fake cologne, fake watch person. You had to go through the VHS person. You had to go, there's always like 6 guys that repair electronics, and some electronics are like why the fuck are you repairing like bootleg Walkman? Like, who the fuck still uses a bootleg Walkman? Just buy a Walkman. You know what I mean? Like, nobody uses it. But those people and all that. And like, there's always people. It's always tight, and there's always kids running around and shit. So like, yeah, man. So you just have a shopping cart working on three wheels, and you pull it out real quick. Guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
So let's start the news then.
The hell?
Whenever you're ready.
So I'm starting with Ben Affleck was spotted working at Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru in some social media videos. NBC 10 in Boston, Massachusetts is reporting on the beloved actor making a new set of commercials. I don't think it's a set of commercials. I think JLO cut him off, and he has to now he is getting an allowance, so he has to go work at Dunkin' Donuts. But it says Jennifer Lopez is also involved in filming in a capacity as well, which means she's not doing fucking commercials. She's just hanging out. A lot of fans.
He needs to get away. Like, he just needs to get away from her. She just won't stop doing everything.
I think the problem is like there's when she opens her legs, it's like fireworks in a circus. So as soon as she opens the leg, it's like and he's just like, hell yeah, fireworks, shit, yeah. But I think it's really for an allowance. That's how he's getting his allowance.
I bet she's driving him crazy. She's just talking and talking.
He looks like Walmart Ben Affleck right here in this clip or in this shot.
Walmart Ben Affleck.
Is that real? It looks fake.
I think he's doing Dunkin' Donuts commercials. Is actually what it is.
Well, he's from Boston, and Dunkin' Donuts is all over Boston. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but
how would you say
Starbucks Starbucks is everywhere else. Dunkin' Donuts is in Boston.
I figured his brother would be doing something for him, but
Dunkin' Donuts.
Hey, you want to head down to Dunk? Let's go down to Dunk.
I guess he's not Batman anymore, or what?
Yeah, he had to move out of the Wayne Mansion. Moved out of the Wayne Mansion.
Living in the pool house.
I'm going to park my car and work at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, he's parking his car at Dunkin' Donuts. Let's go down to Dunkin' Donuts.
What is he saying there? He's like, what? You didn't order this?
You're going to fucking take it.
Fucking wise guy.
But that's
fucking don't need this job at all. I'm fucking rich.
When I saw this article, I messaged Matt and I was like, we need to make the title of the show Ben Affleck works at Dunkin' Donuts for whatever he wrote. Like, I was like, it's an allowance because Jennifer cut him off or something. But I pocket my car to work at the Dunkin' Donuts.
It looks like he just got something thrown on him. Like, what the fuck is that about?
You want this coffee and that? You want this coffee?
What got thrown on him is middle class. That's what got thrown on him.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Batman. He looks like regular man.
He looks like Dunkin' Man.
What's a W-2 form?
You want this coffee? Or you want to take a picture?
I'm working.
I got a line here.
It's just me on the ship.
So, all right, moving on. According to Bleeding Cool, the 5G it says 5G looking at aborted but not quite launch reboot planned for DC Comics in 2020. Dubbed 5G, fifth generation, planned by the then publisher Dan Dumbass. It would have been the main character of the DC universe, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, and more, aged up and replaced by newcomers to the roles of Superman, Batman, and more. The fifth generation of superheroes, while stories starring these classic characters would be out of continuity or set in the past. During the previous 4 generations of DC heroes of the new DC timeline. But damn dumbass was fired in 2020 for unrelated matters, and then the lockdown hit, which saw the publication of 5G delayed. In that moment, DC took the opportunity to junk the 5G, thank fucking God, replace them with something else in the short term, and pulp what had already been printed for free comic book day that year.
They just ground it up. They just sent it to the shredder.
Everybody's scared of 5G.
Honestly, though, like, I don't know, as a full reboot, it would have been cool as like an adjacent thing, like, everybody's old and it's getting replaced. I could see that, but like as a final replace where you don't see, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne, I don't know about that.
Isn't that like Future State?
What's that?
Isn't that kind of like what Future State is doing or did?
That's probably what they turned it into. Yeah.
I mean, instead of the past, they went forward. So, I don't know.
I mean, do you think that would sell? Not seeing any comics that don't have Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, any of them? Do you think those would sell? Like, I think they would sell at first, but I think what would happen is people would be like, "I want my characters I'm comfortable with."
Yeah,
it depends on how long you have the run for, right? I mean, if you're only going to do it for a year, yeah, you'll probably be all right with it. But if you're something you plan on doing for 5 years, that's not going to be sustainable for 5 years.
I'm assuming what the 5G plan was. It was probably until the next DC reboot. That's, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what Dumbass's plan was.
It's Dumas.
Dumas. Dan Dumas.
What's his name?
Dan Didio.
Dan Didio.
Didio.
I was just kind of, I mean, like I was hoping Marco was going to be here for this, or Pete too, because I would be interested. Because I mean, like Future State didn't do that well. Like people did. I don't think people attached to it like they thought they were. Like some of the stories were good, but none of them were like, I can't wait to get that next Future State book.
Yeah, I think if they maybe did a more of an inclusive thing with it, where it all kind of worked together, but they didn't do that. Not really.
I mean, like it's one of those where, like, where you plan something in like a lot of Adam Sandler movies. It probably sounds good when you're talking about it, but when you actually do it, it just isn't very good.
Right.
I think Adam Sandler probably knows right now that all of his shit is not going to be any good with all his friends.
Like, it was probably funny when they were like smoking weed and talking about doing Jack and Jill.
That's not how he makes his movies. That's not how he decides what movies to make. His movies he does as vacation write-offs. So he sits there and he's like, where do I want to go on vacation? What kind of movie could we film in that location?
Yeah.
And then I'll just get all my buddies together who want to be in it and do this vacation with me. And we'll write the script on the plane out, and then away we go.
As soon as we get there, we're filming.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how this went. And yeah, Deb, I think you're right. It is the half-assed 5G. I think, but it just, I think what happens is it's people are comfortable. People don't like change, and having a big change like that, I think it would. People be like, okay, this is cool. This is cool for a couple issues, but let's go back to normal.
They're like 5G is cancer. That's what they think. It
kills. 5G is going to kill the beams.
It's like the floor 13. Just skip it.
What up, Patrick? Long time no see.
Well, it's that AT&T crossover, right? Going from 4G to 5G.
But yeah, let's just go 4G to 10G.
There you go.
It's like
definitely ask him.
I'm not going to say what it's like, but I have an idea, but I'm not going there.
I just think it's, I don't know. It is what it is because it can't be what it's not. But
it's like that Buddhist symbol. Got used
wrong. I can't remember. Why did they fire him? I can't remember. I'm like blanking on why they fired him. Because he's
I think it had something to do with drinking too many White Claws before.
Let's guess. Let's speculate.
While having an error.
There was a book that came out this week that what was it called?
I heard it was
near-death experiences.
Like a woman.
I think it was called Spec, and I was like, ooh, everybody could speculate on the book called Spec. Let me see if that was it. I think it's an Image book.
Sounds like a personal problem.
I don't think it's Image.
It is personal problem. No.
Where is it? Is it that little
Scout?
speck?
Is it Scout?
Scout. Let me. I'm pulling up this week's books. I'm at Dark Horse. Let's see, but like,
I'm sorry.
But you gotta call him Dan Dumbass. Hey, Dan Dumbass. Is it Boom? It might be Boom.
Maybe Boom.
Yep, it's called Specs.
Yeah,
You're right. Thank you, Tyson. Thank you, Tyson. Yes, it's. Here, I'll just drag my screen over real quick. Yeah, it's this book right here. It's called Specs, and I was like, "Ooh, maybe everybody could spec on Specs." It's like the
I
ultimate
wouldn't call
dad
them
joke. You're
dudes. I'd
welcome.
call them
Thank you, everybody.
specs.
My specs are right here. It's
Spectacles.
actually kind of a cool cover, but is anybody still reading Something is Killing the Children?
No.
Or did everybody bail on it?
I've never started.
Something is
No.
something is killing our attention span.
Have you guys ever met James Tinian?
No. Is he?
I met him at a Comic-Con when he was still writing Batman Eternal. And I was trying to get him for an interview for Absolute Geek, and he was nice. He was nice about it. He was like, "You got to go through DC." he was nice. Didn't want to say no.
You
but
rang?
Have my people call your people.
Snap! It's Petey.
Oh, what do we do? What do we do?
Mr. Pete. So I was talking about 5G and how it did come out, and future state and stuff, and I was like, I kind of wanted.
I was listening along as I was wrapping some things up, but yeah, no interest in 5G. Didn't like the idea of it. I'm glad it. Well, I don't even care what it became. Yeah, I think Styx is right. I think it became future state, or I don't know. It's just not for me.
Yeah,
I thought it became
like it's a cool novelty thing.
So it sounds really like an Elseworlds reboot, where if you're not going to have your main characters, it's not going to be Clark Kent. It's going to be, I don't know, some other guy from Smallville.
Pete, it didn't become future state. What it became was the lining of everyone's hamster cage at DC.
I'm gonna just shred this shit, and then it's going in my guinea pig. It's going in my guinea pig cage.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's just a dumb idea. But I don't know what's worse. Like the comic plans they had, the movie plans they had, or Sony's movie plans that they have. Like, I don't know who's got or is more off base with what they think people actually want.
Race to the bottom.
Yeah, kind of.
Listen, there's no number one draft pick for them to be at the bottom. So,
well, Ezra's the wild card right now. They keep him
in more than one way.
They keep him, or do they put him in the institution?
Huh?
No.
What are you guys talking about?
He ain't fired yet.
And I don't know if they're going to.
Yeah. I don't know if they will either.
Like, if they didn't do it yet. Like,
I know. It's like somebody's on his side. No, let's just see how this plays out.
Yeah,
hey,
somebody's
nice
probably his
bigger
uncle
selection here, Kyle. I see how you're trying to sneak in the hot girl of the week here.
I didn't do that segment this week because you're right. I did it here. So it says Wednesdays, Christina Ricci lends her voice to DC's most famous gesture in Harley Quinn and the Joker. Soundmind, a new audio drama coming from DC, Warner Brothers, and Stupefy. The 7-episode series is written and directed by Eli, who fucking cares, and who fucking cares, as the Joker and Justin Hartley, whoever, as Bruce Wayne, whoever fucking cares.
Justin Hartley's Green Arrow from Smallville.
I don't fucking care. And all episodes premiere on January 31st. An audio trailer of Ricci and whoever interpretation of the iconic character while hinting that Harley will have far more agency in her relationship with the Joker than has previously been depicted in some of DC's prior comics and media adaptations. Who the fuck wants to listen to this on Spotify?
I don't know, but Snakes on a Plane kind of made her like extremely dirty to me in my head. Like, just
that's what I.
So you're the guy who watched Snakes on a Plane.
No, I'm like, this is I'm like, this is crazy. Like, she's now forever gonna be that girl in my head. Like, I just can't stop doing it.
Wait, which girl?
Christina Ricci.
She looks like Nick Cage and Con Air.
You don't think of her as Wednesday Addams. You think of her as the girl from
Black Snake Moan.
Black Snake Moan.
Yeah. It was something to snakes and.
Yeah, you're right, but
Samuel L. Jackson.
Still an odd one. That's her signature movie now to you. For her.
Yeah, like that's kind of like that's like farting in front of me. Like I
didn't know if that was a good idea or not.
Dude.
Your guy's on the way. I got him yesterday.
My mail for mine.
Yeah, it's going out. It's going out this weekend. I just got him yesterday.
Nice.
Sweet. So remember to go on
weekend's only 2
order
days,
your
right?
gym shirts. So, is everybody excited to listen?
Coming out this weekend. Tomorrow's Sunday.
Well, yeah. I don't control that. Tomorrow's Sunday.
Mondays.
Is anybody excited to go on Spotify and listen to an audio drama of the Joker and Harley Quinn?
No.
I'd rather read a book in audio.
Yeah, I'm about as excited to watch like a how to make glue like audio book or something like I could care less. I don't want to listen to this.
Turn isopropyl alcohol to 99% alcohol.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video on how to fix my furnace.
For fun or because you had to?
Well, because I had to.
How
exactly. Certain things you do because you have to. I don't have to listen to this, and I'm probably not going to.
And then when you do it, you worry that things could catch fire, so you keep a closer eye than you normally would.
I'm gonna check it out.
I mean, I don't know why Kyle couldn't get a more recent picture. This one's like clearly by around Thanksgiving time. So
no, but I'm glad Ricci is.
Dude, I mean, she's braless. Picture. I mean, ever since that Black Snake Moan,
I'll be here all week. No one got that.
I saw Christina Ricci in person once. The only thing I remember was her very large forehead.
Well, now
she does have a good hairline there.
Awesome.
She's got that Peyton Manning forehead.
Never sign up football.
So
Hartman's got that AI forehead.
He's done.
I'm learning every day.
We should do an AI picture and ask it to do a picture of Hartman for us.
It's a black guy when I typed in Cartier West.
So
like it got me wrong. It's racist AI. Literally.
Fucking AI. I think that's just gonna fade away for quite some time.
Oh God, you were far wrong. You're furthest from. You're way off kilter.
He's just trying to wind you up, Hartman. Let it go.
Poking the bear.
It's a fucking fad. Deal with it, Hartman. It's a fucking fad. So, Titans director Nicholas Copus commented on the status of season 5, seemingly confirming that HBO Max might have already been developing the next installment of the superhero series, which is a good sign. Though an Instagram,
I haven't watched this yet.
Instagram post commemorating the 10th month production of season 4, Copus teased Titan fans by revealing that he has been sworn into secrecy regarding the details about season 5. Although HBO Max hasn't made any announcements for the renewal of Titans, this is certainly a hopeful update for fans who are curious about the future of DC the series, especially after the streamer has been canceled. Especially after the streamer has been canceling show these past few months following the merger with Warner Media and Discovery.
Yeah, but I heard the culling was over. So if it hasn't been culled already, then it's safe.
I'd be scared every day I go to work.
So if they haven't announced it was canceled already, then it's good.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
I would say so.
Yeah. One way.
I'm sure they have.
I'm
sure they have social media people that check and see how popular it is that way. You know, and if it's popular that way, they'll probably keep it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if it's not announced and it's not set and they're not in production and not already making season 5, well, there's no guarantee that they will.
Right.
Yeah. There's no rush on their part that they have to cancel if they haven't, started shelling out bucks for anything.
Is this out yet? I see commercials for it, but is it actually out yet?
Yeah.
4? I think so. Yeah. And I'm behind. I haven't checked it out yet.
Is there an interest in that Velma show?
I like it, actually. I mean, once they got comfortable with the fact that they could drop the F-bomb and just it's like, okay, we could do it occasionally, but not make it every other word, it got better.
That's good.
I guess I'm too much of a Scooby-Doo purist.
Scooby-Doo?
Don't fuck up my Scooby-Doo.
Oh, are you talking about the Velma one?
The Velma one, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Or
I was talking about Titans.
Okay. Sorry. I thought we were on the Velma because of the comment for love.
I was still talking about Titans because Hawkman was just F this, F that, like through the first 2 seasons.
Oh, well, okay. I thought you were talking about Velma dropping F-bomb. I'm like, what? Really?
Was she? I don't know. I know it's that's been short too.
Here at SNS, we have 3 different conversations at once.
I guess so. We're all on a different page.
What's going on here? Kaling doing that show? Velma?
Yes.
It's what's her name from The Office?
Mindy Kaling. That's who Hartman said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hartman.
I'm familiar.
I can't hear out of my left ear, so that's where my speaker's at. So actually not catching everything. Okay. So Titans, yes. Thank you. Next, we have film producer and director Michael Bay is accused of killing a pigeon while shooting a film in Italy in 2018. As the Wrap reports, the bird's death occurred on the set of Bay's Netflix film Six Underground. Allegedly, a homing pigeon was killed by a dolly while filming a scene in Rome. An unnamed person on the set that day is said to have photographed the incident. Bay denied that it happened. I am a well-known animal lover and major animal activist, he stated. No animals involved in the production were injured or harmed. I didn't want to say was because it doesn't sound right. Or on any other production I've worked on in the past 30 years. Wild birds are under special protection by Italian law. It is illegal to harm them, kill, or capture. While Bay did not operate the dolly in question, he is held responsible as the film's director. Bay and his team tried to dismiss the case 3 times in the past 5 years, apparently to no avail. According to the filmmaker, he was offered to be released from the charges by paying a small fine, but he stood by his principles. I declined to do so because I would not plead guilty to having harmed an animal, he said. We have clear video evidence, a multitude of witnesses, and safety officers that exonerates us from these claims and disproves their one paparazzi photo, which gives a false story.
That's a lot to kind of unpack in that bit.
Yeah. Let me start.
Story about a pigeon being killed.
Let me start by saying this is so ridiculous, but a homing pigeon is not a wild bird.
True, but was it involved in the production of this film? So it could have been a separate.
It was probably dumb homing pigeon and flew into the dolly.
Well, homing pigeons are domesticated birds. They are not wild.
You're missing the big question.
By that logic, it's not protected then.
It's not protected. Shouldn't be protected.
And if it's not involved in the filming production, then it's not their responsibility either. I don't know what's so hard about this.
I was just like, damn, I wish this would have came out a day or 2 ago, because this would have been the fucking thumbnail and the title of the movie. Michael Bay is a pigeon killer. Joe says
5 years.
Sam is an expert in bird law.
You know, I'm not an expert in bird law, but I am an expert in reading law.
Bird law.
And if the law protects wild birds and you're talking about a domesticated bird like a chicken, right? You can eat chicken in Italy all day long. And you could have squab in certain parts, I'm sure, which are just pigeons, domesticated pigeons.
This should be an SNL sketch.
I assume pigeons are just part of the ambiance over there. That's why they don't want to kill.
Italy is directed by John Woo.
So the bird wasn't on the payroll?
Well, it was on John Woo's payroll.
Well,
man.
Hopefully he had a SAG card and insurance.
Now he's got to get like pigeon insurance from now on or something.
Yeah, well, every film production has acts and omissions insurance, liability insurance. So,
I thought you were going to say has homing pigeons.
They don't. Yeah,
in case the cell phones break down.
Every Italian film production has homing pigeons. That's
send a message to camera 5 via the pigeon.
Common knowledge.
That's funny. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass? Right, I got to go back to Italy for the stupid fucking pigeon case.
the pigeon case.
Who did he piss off?
Who hasn't he pissed off? It's Megan Fox.
No, I know, but sorry, the font was very small, so it was hard for me to read. But so somebody, let's say they either made this picture happen, so they did it without.
You're saying it's conspiracy now.
Yeah, no, if you read it, because he's everybody knows I'm a animal, but it's some person allegedly just was running around backstage and then took a photo. If you see a pigeon, remember when Randy Johnson threw the ball and killed that pigeon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless the only reason you got a picture of it was because they were taking a picture of Randy Johnson, throwing to the plate, right?
Yes.
It would die fast here, I feel. So how would why is he I'm a well-known, I don't think anybody knows that does anybody know that he's an animal lover and activist? I didn't know.
No. I think
so you're not the well-known.
After years of talking about this, it's probably become part of his.
There's a lot of
you guys don't know is how many
years,
how much he wept for the dead pigeon. He wept bitterly when that pigeon died.
But it just sounds
Planet of the Apes.
It sounds like maybe he didn't pay off the mafia down there or something, and they're we're gonna put a hit on this pigeon and we're gonna set him up. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds happening here, because this sounds like a setup.
With a BB gun in the clock tower.
Yeah, they're waiting. They're hey, you didn't give us our payola? All right, babe, we'll teach you a lesson. All right. Yes.
Release the pigeon.
Was there a Gracie Knoll?
3 minutes to dead time. Boop.
Backstage, boys.
Okay. Let me
So
right,
that's the end with the pigeon.
Well, I don't think we got through news because I got in here early and then I just started talking about weird places I've bought comics before, like the guy who was doing chiropractor massages and then would, in the flea market. And
I
then
think
would
the last story was only Malcolm in the Middle is going to be a professional race car driver anyway, and it's Dave Bautista story, so it really doesn't matter. Let me.
We have a
Dave Bautista, John Cena story. Let me remove this. We're going to add our guest so that Sam can introduce our wonderful guest for tonight.
All right.
Hello, Adam. How's it going?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good to see y'all.
Just to introduce our guest to our audience, this is Mr. Adam Beechen. He is a writer who has worked in the comics industry as well as TV, animation since late 90s, early 2000s. Some of his notable works include Justice League Unlimited, Countdown to Adventure, Batman Beyond, as well as in screenwriting. He was the head writer on Edgar and Ellen, Pink Panther and Pals, Transformers, Robots in Disguise, Lego Jurassic World, Legend of Isla Nublar. Tonight, we welcome Mr. Beechen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey guys.
There you go.
Hey, welcome.
Good job, Sam. You got the name right, and you kind of give a great profile. So
that was pretty good.
Good job. Yeah, good job.
Hey,
sounded like me. Yeah.
Mistakes.
I even remembered some of those shows.
That's actually doing pretty good for us. We don't always get that right.
Sometimes they've messed up a couple people before, so we're gonna give them a little slide here. All right.
I'm impressed.
Nice. Why
So you're a busy guy.
Yeah, I've been at this for a little while. Yeah, been lucky. I've had a lot of really great opportunities and worked on a lot of great properties.
I mean,
so which are the ones that you like when you're on if you're on a first date? What are your first date stories? Like, oh, hey, this is the one I wrote. This is one I'm most proud of.
I don't tend to bring it up on first dates, mostly because I'm married and I don't have first dates.
It's just a euphemism for it.
He's on a permanent date.
I can sense a trap when it's coming, guys. I can sense a trap. You're not going to put it over on me.
So how long did you wait to tell your wife before, hey, you know what? I'm a super big cartoon and comic guy.
And I'm writing Wildcats.
You know, I didn't say super big. I just said comic book and cartoon guy. And luckily, we're still together.
Because I waited a while. My wife had an inkling for a little bit, like when we were dating and stuff. Like she knew I liked it. Like I would be hanging out with her and I'd be like, oh shit, X-Files are on. And I'd just leave. And she had no idea. Then we got married and moved in together. And she was like, oh.
He still leaves.
I kind of questioned her decision.
Yeah. I think it's the first time that your partner sees your place and gets a sense of your decorating style that they may really find out how big of a comics and cartoon guy you are. I tend to have a lot of comic book art on my walls, so it's tough to hide.
Does your comic book art lean more Batman or more Thornberrys?
More superhero stuff, yeah. More on the comic side.
Yeah, so what you should do for all the younger people watching this is like leave your childhood room decorated with all that stuff. When you're in your own apartment, you just don't have anything up in the wall at all, okay?
Right.
So you can always go whenever you're visiting your mom and dad, you can go back and play with that stuff. Then you'll find a nice young lady, and then you buy a house and you just keep a room like this and you just hide it. And so that all of her friends have no clue till well after you're married that this is a situation.
And assuming your mom and dad don't throw everything out the window the moment you walk out the door.
Well, I mean, you should be paying them to not do that. So
I got to flip them a 20 every time you visit.
Yeah. Wow, I'm paying way too much.
Tyson says, that's why I got a storage unit.
Oh, yeah. You can't.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful because I got a storage unit and put all my books in there and they all got stolen. I lost my entire comics collection, 30 years worth of collecting.
Oh, man.
But I got them back. Back.
Did you hire Nicolas Cage to find them?
No, let's hear this story. Go.
What else would I do besides hire Nicolas Cage? A friend of mine saw a story on the news that there was a ring of thieves that were breaking into storage units across, Southern California. And so he knew that I had lost my collection. He said, you should call the Garden Grove Police Department and see if they found anything, because they had busted up this ring. And one of the things they had found was a large comic book collection. So I called the Garden Grove Police Department and I said, I understand you found this comics collection in the storage unit thing. I had mine stolen. Is there any way that I can check out the collection that you have? And they said, sure. Do you have an index to your collection?
Oh, yeah.
With anything in particular that's like unusual that would identify it for us? And I said, do I have an index of my collection? Right. I'm like, would you like it by Silver Age, by Bronze Age? Would you like it by artist first name, artist last name, the letterer? And they just said, just send us the list and shut up. So I sent them the list. And they said, yeah, we found your comics. And so I went down to Garden Grove and I went to a police storage unit, and there were all the boxes, the long boxes that my comics had been in, and none of them had been taken. There was there were phone numbers of local comic shops on the boxes, but none of the shops were taking collections as big as mine, because who wants a collection that big? And so these guys hadn't been smart enough to break up the collection and try and sell it out in pieces. So I got really lucky. I mean, incredibly lucky. So my comics and I have been reunited.
What was
breaking
what
them
was your favorite book?
Job. That's too much like work.
Yeah, exactly.
They were looking to make a quick score.
Probably not fans. Yeah.
What was your favorite books that were in that collection, or are you still having that? Like, what were the ones you were like, crap, this is gonna be hard to replace?
Oh God, well, pretty much all of the Frank Miller Daredevils, pretty much all of the John Byrne and Chris Claremont X-Men.
Dude, that's a long,
you know, some independent stuff. Like I had a 256 issue run of Cerebus the Aardvark. I had a lot of stuff, and I still have it now.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I was really fortunate.
What's your Silver Age love in there? What do you got in there for Silver Age that I'm going to go steal from you?
Back in the Silver Age stuff is Adam Strange. I've always been a huge fan of that character.
Really?
Oh yeah. You know, I said elsewhere that Adam Strange to me is like the John McClane of the DC universe. He's just a guy with a funny suit and a fin for a hat and a ray gun pistol, and he's always outnumbered. He's always outgunned. He has no idea what he's doing or what he's getting into, and he always finds a way to think himself out of his problems. So that character to me has been really, really special all these years. And when I got a chance to write him for DC, that was kind of a dream.
Oh, I thought Wildcats was going to be your dream for writing for DC.
You know what? That's one of my favorite projects I've ever worked on.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah.
How fun is that? How fun is that? Like because you had to be around. I mean, you were around during that. Like you were in your 20s around the time that that was happening, right? Where Lee and the boys were out there doing their big deal. And
honestly, I had never read it before I took over the book.
I don't think a lot of people have. I think a lot of people just bought it. So
I had never read it, and then I did a crash course and read everything Wildstorm when I got the gig. Going all the way back to the beginning, and got a sense of all of the characters in this huge tapestry that Jim and Scott and everybody else had created. And you know, one of my dirty little secrets is that I've always wanted to write the Legion of Superheroes. Still do. I think it'd be great. Yeah. And so I always wanted to write a team. Shooter and Levitz, really.
Yeah, right.
And I always wanted to write a team book with a huge cast and see if I could balance out and juggle the storylines and stuff. And when I got the chance to do Wildcats, I'm like, this is it. I'm doing it. And we had a draft, the guys who were doing the Authority and me doing the Wildcats, and they were going to be sending the Authority off into space. Okay. And they said, so let's do a draft. Who do you want with your first pick? And so
that's cool.
The Authority guys picked their guys, and I took literally everybody else in the Wildstorm universe.
2017 nerd draft. We got that one. Yeah, all right.
100%. 100%. And so Tim Seeley and I, you know, we just were like, let's go for it. Let's bring in as many characters as we should, call them all Wildcats and put them to work, you know, trying to save the planet. And it was so much fun. It really was.
You know what's funny is like, it's funny hearing you talk about the Legion, because I've talked with Houston before too. He actually, because I sell comic books too at shows a lot, and like we had just picked up a whole run, and Shooter was it, and like how many comic book artists that we like and see nowadays like really mention that Shooter run like with high regard. Like obviously that's not exactly one of my favorites or whatever, but I understand how important it is but it does seem like it has a special place in the heart of people such as yourself, like artists that actually are in the industry still, and that Shooter run.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little before my time. When I started reading Legion, I think Carrie Bates was writing it.
Okay.
And Mike Grell was doing the art, and that was the very first stuff that I saw. But then when Paul Levitz and Keith Giffen took over, that's when I really became a Legion fan. And there was just so much creative energy happening in that book, and there were 26 lead characters, and they were bouncing so effortlessly between them that it was like watching a really good soap opera, you know. And that's the kind of approach I always wanted to take should I ever had the chance to write a team book. And so when we got Wildcats, that was it. It was like, I may not get a chance to write the Legion, but I'm going to do my version of it here.
That's cool. Yeah, Joe's a big fan of Adam too. I mean, he posts a lot of stuff. It was kind of funny because I brought up that question about Silver Age because of this. One of our fans, Joe, he posts a lot of Silver too, and Adam Strange, he does a lot of stuff with that too. But it was because like Creeper, he posted something on Creeper, which I've noticed like for some reason whenever you're going into like whenever you have fans of Silver Age, usually they have something to do. It's, you know, and I'm getting away from the like. Of course, everybody loves the horror stuff.
You just want to talk about Creeper.
Yeah, I do. This is where the whole situation, so I can talk about Creeper. But I've always found out that people attach themselves to a DC Silver Age comic book character, and most of them aren't typically like when you get really into the nerdom and the fandom. It's usually not Batman or Superman that they're attaching themselves to. They're attaching them to something like I wouldn't say. I mean, Adam's fine like a character, but I wouldn't say he's like A+ list. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't.
Those are the characters that I gravitate to, are the B-listers, because so little has been done with them to flesh them out, And then when Alan Moore took over Swamp Thing and made Swamp Thing
is amazing,
key part of the DC universe, he was showing everybody that every character has something in them that can make them really popular and big and interesting. And I feel the same way about guys like Doc Samson. And Aquaman for a long time was a B-list, and Wonder Man and characters like that. There's something in all of those characters that can be fascinating and make them cool. And that was just what I happened to see in Adam Strange. The other characters that I really loved from the Silver Age were the Metal Men. Because some of the first comics I ever read were Metal Men comics that Walt Simonson was drawing.
Right.
And I just fell in love with the characters from that. And so I pitched a series to DC for Metal Men. One of the first meetings I had in Hollywood was about a possible Metal Men animated series. And I got to write them finally in Batman Beyond, which was a lot of fun. I knew the book was going to be ending, and I'm like, this might be my only chance to write these guys. So I'm bringing them in.
I'm putting them in.
That showcase run, that Silver Age showcase run, has to be one of the greatest untapped source material that has enough to, because they introduced a ton of characters. You had the Challengers in there. You had Metal Men were in, like, and some of them will only get like limited run throughout that. I mean, obviously everybody pulls Flash out all the time because he became the A-lister or Green Lantern out of it. But like, there's like, are we going to ever get like the Fireman story from Showcase 1? Like, why is nobody picking up that character? Or Marina Man, Frogman? Yeah, you sure? If
it hasn't happened by now, there's probably a reason.
I think maybe getting on those might be a key. You go through those first like 3. I think was it Fireman, Frogman, and Hawkboy, or what was it? What's the last one?
Man.
Is that what it is? Man,
I don't know. Fireman,
whatever.
Frogman,
I don't know. It's like an Indian guy with a hawk on it, I guess. I can't remember what it. I think those are untapped resources. Add those to your next team up book, and I think you got a winning.
Sure, you got it.
Element there.
You got it. Bring them on.
What was it like getting that original call from DC saying, "Hey, we need you. Let's write something"?
It was pretty amazing. I don't know what you guys know about how I first got involved with DC, but I was writing animation first. And through the course of my animation career, I got to write for some DC properties, Teen Titans being the one that I was working on at the time. And a friend of mine from college came out to do some other business. He was an editor at DC. We had not been in touch. We sort of reconnected. And we were at this recording together. And I told him, I'm coming to New York. I would love to see you. He said, do you want a tour of DC? I said, do I want a tour of DC? And DC was still in New York in those days. And so I went to New York, and he showed me around the office. My friend's name is Ivan Cohen. He's now writing some of the Scooby-Doo stuff for DC. He's a fantastic writer. And he walked me around the offices and introduced me to people. And one of the people he introduced me to was the guy who was editing the Teen Titans Go comic book. And so I chatted with him for a while. And I asked him before I left, I said, would you be okay if I pitched you some stories sometime? And he said, why would you want to do that? You write for the show. I'm like, because it's comics. He said, all right, sure. So I pitched him a couple of ideas, and he bought one. And that got turned into a comic, my first comic book. And then the next month, another editor called me up and said, hey, we're starting a Justice League Unlimited series. Would you want to be the guy to write it? And I said, yes, please. And that's how it happened. Now, simultaneously with all of this, my friends Larry Young and Mimi Rosenheim had started an independent comics publishing company called AIT Planet Lair. And they had told me that if I had any ideas for graphic novels, they would be happy to make it work. And so they published a graphic novel of mine called Hench, which came out in 2004. You can find it on Amazon. And that sort of I had work that I could show to people in the comics realm that said I wasn't just an animation writer. I knew the form for comics. So between the two of those things, between my friend Ivan introducing me around and the graphic novel, that was kind of what put me on the map for DC.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's it like being an animation writer? Like, what? Because you've done a lot of televisions.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that like? I mean, what's that like? 'Cause I've never had anybody talk about making like a cartoon.
Well, yeah, I hang out with all the animated characters in my spare time. We all do cocaine, and
That's awesome.
it's just you've seen the trailer for Babylon. It's a lot like that.
Blow.
And Bugs Bunny, that kid is whack. It's a ton of fun. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen animation scripts, but they are different from primetime scripts and live action scripts in that you can do a little more directing on the page, meaning you're describing the scenes a little more fully. It's great training for writing comics, actually, and probably the other way around too, because you want to tell these artists pretty much what you're seeing in your head. It's a writer's medium. Television is more so than a director's medium, and there are plenty of really talented animation directors that I've worked with, but they want a more fleshed out script. So you can really get into thinking about what the world of the show is like, what the characters would do in given situations. You know, most shows, the episodes stand alone, so you don't have to worry about a lot of continuity. In some shows, that's different. And it's fun. And then going to the recording of an episode, if you're lucky enough to do that and see the actors actually do it, that's the cherry on top of the sundae. That's really the reward, for me at least, at the end of the day, is to see the words come out of actors' mouths.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be fun to watch. Just that.
Yeah.
What was your favorite one that was like your favorite show that you got to be a part of?
Well, that's a tough question because they've all been
so many good ones.
Well, also, I think there's recency bias. And so the last show you worked on, because you were so deeply involved in it, that's the show that you are still the most invested in. Mm-hmm. But I've had fun working on a ton of shows. Wild Thornberrys, I have a lot of love for because it was my first show that I was able to work on. Working with the rest of the writers on Teen Titans Go was amazing. Working on Jackie Chan Adventures, which got me sort of into the boys action adventure side of animation, was really, really cool. And I learned a lot on that job. I learned the most from my job on Transformers, Robots in Disguise, which we did for 4 seasons. It's the longest I've held a job in my adult life. And the producer taught me just a ton of stuff that I use today. I really learned a lot about the craft. And then working with Lego.
Those are all great shows.
And working with Lego has just been pure fun. Because there's so much whimsy in all of the stories that they do. You can just sort of go nuts, and they're very willing to let you. I mean, they'll pull you back if you cross the line, but for the most part, they're really just excited to see what you want to do with their characters and their worlds. So I have a lot of favorites, and I couldn't pick just one. That would be rude.
You can campaign for the Metal Men to appear on Batman Brave and the Bold.
I did not, but I think they did appear. I think Gold actually appeared in one of my episodes. And I can't remember which one it was, but I think Gold was in there, and he was like a grill on Batman's teeth. Batman was undercover as Matches Malone or something, and he had a grill, and it was gold, and it turned out to be gold, and gold just sort of jumped out of his mouth and KO'd the bad guy or something. That was fun.
That was great.
Yeah.
How much in touch with like the creators are you when you're writing your script?
Creators of what? I'm sorry.
Of like the cartoons themselves. You know, you got the people who come up with the idea for the cartoon, and you're the writer.
Yeah.
I mean, so how much in touch with them are you? Or are they saying this is what we kind of want it to be about? Go.
Well, it's pretty close contact, because usually the people who have come up with the show or are the executive producers of the show created the show, and they're writers or they're artists or they're both, and they work very closely with the writers to make sure that it matches up with the tone that they envision. And that's a big part of writing for TV, is you've got to match the voice of the show you're writing for if it's an existing show. And that's tough to do. And so the head writer, or whoever that is, often will take a script that comes from a freelancer. If I'm freelancing and just doing one episode of a show, and they'll take it, they'll look at it, they'll say, okay, you got this right, you got this right, you got this right, but this scene you need to make sound more like our characters by doing this, or this character wouldn't do this here. Then I go off and I rewrite it based on their notes, turn it back in, and then those writers will take a pass at the script that I have turned in to iron out all of the wrinkles and make it really sound like what the show is supposed to be. So it's pretty close contact, not during the actual writing process, but in the development of the story and putting together of the outline, and then the notes part after the drafts are done.
Are you ever reaching out to anyone saying, "Hey, I have a question on this," or
in the process of writing a script?
Yes.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. If I come up against a question of the character's history that I don't know about, I'll send in a
continuity.
a
I gotta imagine will be tough if you're doing a
one. If I
one-off.
don't know how to, if I don't know how to stage a particular scene, I'm not picturing it the way that they are. I'll get clarification on that. Yeah, and the head writers are always very good about that. They're more than happy to discuss stuff with you. It's when you take an outline and you go home and you start writing the first draft and you start changing stuff, and you say, oh, you know what, this would be better than that, and you put that into a script and you hand that in. That's when head writers get upset, because they're expecting one thing that was approved by the studio and approved by them. They're getting something back. They're not gonna, they're not gonna smile on that.
Yeah. Oh, you changed that. Oh, nice.
How crazy is it? Like you said you like doing the Lego stuff, but you did like Ninjago, right? So but it was like a later season. You did how many episodes?
I did one episode.
One episode in the middle. So do you get is part of your oh, this sounds kind of cool actually. Is part of your job like, hey, cool, I get to watch. My kids are huge fans of Ninjago, or were for a long time, still are. But yeah, so did you have to watch all 6 seasons of Ninjago? Because it was different feelings. Like Ninjago actually, all their seasons, there's very subset different feelings, and even the characters changed and developed a lot. So I would assume, I know you talked about hey, you have the head writer kind of giving you a feel, but did you sit down and multiple watch seasons 1 through 6, and then season 7 was a way different feel than season 1, 2, and 3. It wasn't even the same styling, so how does that play out? That seems crazy, but also seems kind of cool because your whole job is just to watch cartoons and shit.
I did binge the series.
Got to write them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got to watch the first 6 seasons. Shit, man.
That's an ancillary benefit. But
your wife's like, hey, dude, law's got to be cut. You're like, hon, sorry, I'm season 3 in Ninjago right now. I gotta work. Sorry. Done.
Exactly. What is Master Wu up to? I have to find out.
How did he make those noodles?
I don't remember which season my episode appeared in. It was 4 or 5 or maybe 6. It was the one season.
It was later. Yeah, it was the time one. It was technically, I think it was total 7, US 5, maybe Cartoon Network 5, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Okay. It was a season that the 2 guys who have written most of the episodes didn't work on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a buddy of mine was the head writer, and he brought me in to write this one episode. And I didn't know anything about Ninjago. He didn't know anything about Ninjago when he took the job. So he had binged the entire series. Yeah. So then I binged the entire series, and it took me, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, and was plowing through episodes. And by the end, your eyes are like, ooh.
Because it's crazy. It's a very interesting. I didn't mind watching it with my kid. It's for kids, but it's it's the usual Lego stuff where it's kind of for. But there's some crazy stuff that goes on in Ninjago. It's hard to follow, but you can get into it. You have to get into it though. So.
It's a great show, and it's funny as heck. Yeah. And but it's convoluted. It really is. And so it's hard, I think, for a freelancer coming in late in a series on a show to get up to speed on that show and then hold that in their mind just for the period of when they're writing the script, because writing the script is a couple of weeks. Right. And so all that watching of the series just goes bloosh when you're done, but you've got to hold it in your head just so you have an idea of what the show's tone is and who the characters are for that period of time. So, it was really fun to work on. I got to work on some Ninjago books after that.
Nice.
But
did they give you any of the toys? Did you get any of the Lego sets?
Dang it! Lego, yes.
No, but did you get the Lego set Ninjagos? Those things? Oh,
no. Nice. I got Jurassic World. Yep.
Oh, dude, that's
the gates of Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's super cool, man.
So your Netflix subscription, your cable, that's all a write-off, right? You get to just write all that off.
Yes, sir. Every book I buy.
Who doesn't?
You bet.
That's great.
That's one of the pluses.
Now, you were on Ninja Turtles, and we freaking love Ninja Turtles too. You did one episode back in 2006. What was the process there?
Oh God. That's hard to remember.
2006.
What the hell? What are you doing?
I don't even remember where I was.
Hurry up and
Talk about what I want to talk
something
about.
else, bro. Go.
Talk about what I want to talk about.
I think, and I apologize if I'm getting details wrong, but the story editor on that show was the comic book writer Joe Kelly. And I didn't know Joe really well. I had met him at conventions and stuff, but it was a chance to work with him, which was really exciting and a lot of fun. We weren't in the same city, so a lot of it was done by phone. Zoom really wasn't an issue at that time. That was another show where I had to do a lot of research and pick up what the characters were and what was intended for them in this particular series, because they've had different iterations where the characters have had different goals and what have you. I was a little familiar with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, more so than I was with what's the last show we talked about?
Ninjago. Yeah.
Thank you. Ninjago.
No problem.
But I wasn't, super well versed in it by any means. So it was really fun, and it was fun to work with Joe, and I had a good time on the series. Would have liked to have written more and would love to go back to the characters someday.
So Solo Wookie is a collector in our chat right now, and he's talking about Justice League Unlimited. He says to date, it's in his top 5 all-time series.
Oh, that's nice.
He says your carryover arcs are what they should be basing live action on today. How do you feel about that?
About using Justice League Unlimited continuity for the current DCU in terms of movies?
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Because you get a job out of it.
I would love that, certainly too. That's what they say is above my pay grade.
Okay.
Those decisions are made a lot higher up than I've ever been. It would be flattering to see one of those stories turned into something else, but everybody who works on the characters and on the particular series has a different take on it, and it's fun for me to see what those takes are from different people, just because I've had the experience of doing it myself. So I feel like I've told my Justice League stories for now. If they want to do something with them down the road, more power to them. But otherwise, I'm happy to see what other people want to do.
Do you guys have like a meetup where like everybody who did the Justice League or everybody who did Transformers, you all hang out and say like, yeah, mine was a little bit better than yours, because like a Zoom meeting or something where you guys crack a couple beers and then talk shit to each other? Like, yeah, yours was
kind of shit.
Yeah, when I wrote this, it was meant to go this way. You really dropped the ball on that one. And like,
no, I have that conversation with comics fans occasionally.
Yeah, sure.
Boy, I don't know what you did with my character here. But when the writers get together, we're all so beaten down that we just say, yeah, I understand what you went through, man. It's more like a support group. But the community of animation writers,
no, but you got the special extra chat in the background. You're like, can you believe it? If he just would have done what I was doing, he would have made it all right,
I'm sure there are those thoughts that are out there. Yeah. I'm sure there are people who do feel that way, but mostly we're really supportive of each other.
Yeah, supportive of niche studio. Yeah,
cool. We all know how hard the job is and how hard we work, and we all want to work with each other and for each other. So, but not a lot of trash gets talked. I don't think. I mean, I read all of it. As far as I know, right now, there's a conversation going on across the room.
Oh, what did I have Adam left? We can talk about it.
They're making fun of
me. He's making fun of me.
He goes, "What did you have for lunch, June 5th, 1985?"
Oh, I know the answer to this. I know the answer to that.
Okay, what is it?
That was a Thursday, and I had a chicken patty sandwich at my high school.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Good. Tyson was thinking the same thing. Perfect.
Good fries and chocolate milk.
Yeah, nice. Good. There you go.
So take that.
Oh, yeah, they pick on
there you go. Oh, that's funny. No, and it's good to know that group's kind of like good together. I mean, you see it throughout. Comics is a little different, obviously. Like there's certain groups that run together, and like you always see like team up. I was having a conversation about this today. I always found it weird that like you see the team up of artists and writers where like whoever's the more popular will try to help the other one out to get to like cons or like give them like half their table, and you like how cons have become nowadays. Like there's a lack of there's really a want for talent there, right? Like even people who don't think they're as high talented as they should be, and you still see that old school like, hey, cool, I made it as a writer, like I've have 10 years over, so if you're if this is your third book you're doing art on, you're doing with me, I'll just have you on my coattails. Where like that artist could literally go they could get booked for shows on their self. And I was having a conversation with an artist about this thing. Like, I still find this very interesting that it hasn't evolved to a situation. Like, it's good that they're niche, but they even seem to be niche in their subgroups. So like, oh, well, we did better on this type of area, or we did this over here to sell their own stuff. Where it sounds like you guys in animation, it was just like, oh, well, screw up our management. We hate them and they beat us up all the time. So we're all in this together.
Now, don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not saying you said that, but I'm not saying you said that, but I'm saying like you said that, like you said that.
I'm telling you, man, I can spot a trap a mile away.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I know it's like the same thing in comics too. They say similar stuff, but like, a little bit different.
There are groups in animation as well. And at least in LA where I am, some of that is just geographic.
Yeah,
a lot of the animation studios are on in Burbank and Glendale and places like that. I don't live near those places, so I'm more friends with the writers who are on my side of town. But we all know each other, whether it's through working on different shows or it's the Animation Guild or whatever else, or we've seen each other's works. And so, writers do try and, in animation at least, do try and look out for each other when they can. If someone gives me a job on their show, if I'm lucky enough to run a show somewhere down the line, I'm going to try and pay that back. We all want to keep working. We all want to keep working with each other. We all want to work with new talent, and we all want to work with the writers that we grew up watching and reading. Sometimes you have a say in that and you're able to pick the writers you want. Sometimes the studio does that for you and says, we really want you to work with this person. We want this person on your show. You do the best you can, but what your writers are going through and they know what you're going through, and you're all in it together to make the best show you can.
Can I circle back to real quickly? You said when you went to DC, you went to when they had their headquarters out in New York. What was the first drink that you ordered at the bar in the office there in New York?
Oh, jeez, come on, Mark.
It was a gold kryptonite shake.
Very good. Go ahead. Sure. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
So looking through your filmography and your bibliography, just the one word that kind of captures it is fun. You must kill at kids' parties, right? You get up there, you're telling the jokes.
Who I am?
Well, when I put on the clown makeup, I become a completely different character, and that's called the method. Brando taught it to me. I think he taught it to a few other people. I don't get invited to a lot of kids' parties. Maybe it's me. I don't know. No one has said. I don't have kids. A lot of my friends have kids though, and it's fun to talk to them about the cartoons that they love and the comics that they love, and to have that dialogue with them and learn about the stories they want to see and things that they wish would happen. It's just fun. It's just fun to chat with your audience, and whether they're adults or whether they're kids, and find out why they love the show so much, to hear about their love for the characters. It's really a blast. That's another cherry on top of the sundae, is talking with the people who actually consume your work.
And are you sitting on any projects that you're waiting to pitch? You can give us a little.
I'm waiting to hear back on a pitch. I'll say that. I'm waiting to hear back on a pitch that I made before the holidays. I am nearly done with the script for a new graphic novel. So there's some stuff that's cooking. I'm working on a TV pilot that's a primetime pilot of my own. Who knows if I'll ever get to the point where it gets shown around or anything, but for me, it's a good project and it's fun to write. And that's really all I care about at this point.
Is it original or is it a reboot?
No, it's an original.
Okay.
And, there's
like a Night Court reboot.
It is not like Night Court. It's more like, what was the show with the robot princess girl?
Small Wonder?
Small Wonder. Yeah, we're bringing her back. She's going to fight crime.
Small Wonder. Small Wonder. CSI Small Wonder. There you go.
So quickly.
She's teaming up with TJ Hooker. It should be a masterpiece.
Is Adrian Zemet on board? That's what I need to know.
Hooker the robot
does that, right?
That's great. Punky Brewster guest stars occasionally. No.
Oh man, if only.
Well, that's amazing. I also have. There's a rumor out there that you're a Suns fan. Is that true?
It's probably more than a rumor.
You got
half of us are from Phoenix.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
You got to be.
Well, that's where I grew up.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Washington High School.
Nice.
I don't know if you know where that is.
Kyle's in Glendale. I'm in Mesa.
Okay.
I went to Cortez High School, so I wasn't that far.
You bastard. I made
He
that up.
gets that a lot. Don't worry.
What were your comic shops in Phoenix?
Kyle, what's the one you go to?
I go to Drawn to Comics, Fantastic Worlds. When I was a kid, I went to Atomic Comics.
Sure.
Over by Metro Center.
Yeah.
And I still shop at, there's one called Jesse James, but yeah, there's quite a few now. There didn't used to be. I'm sure you knew that growing up. There wasn't a lot of comic shops here.
Well, my shop was all about books and comics in Central Phoenix, which is kind of a legendary store. Been around forever. Yeah. And I actually worked there for a summer, which was really fun. And getting a chance to work in a comic shop and meet those fans and work with people who are working in a shop was just great. It was a great time. And the owners, Alan and Marcia Giroux, they just retired a couple of years ago. I'm still friends with them. And their son, to bring this in a full circle, Ben is the voice of Big Nate in the new Big Nate cartoon.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So there you go.
Nothing.
All About was just a little bit too far for me.
What is All About?
All About was when I was growing up. I lived by Metro Center, so Atomic was
walked.
Yeah, Atomic.
If you were a real fan, you would have gotten there.
Shots fired. There you go. Yeah. He's right.
No, Kyle
me out.
Kyle had to navigate the Canal Killer back in those days. He was.
I remember.
He
the
had to
Canal
stay
Killer.
close to home.
I remember the Canal Killer. Sorry,
I was walking to Metro Center.
All of your non-Phoenix fans have just gone to sleep, and I apologize. But I remember the Canal Killer. I lived close to the canal when that was going on.
No, don't worry. That's typically what happens on this show. They start talking about local Arizona stuff, and it's like cool.
Hey, I was walking by the Metro Center one time when they found one of the heads in the canal.
And
they were pulling it out, and all the cops were there.
Yep. I have an alibi. I can see a trap a mile away, Kyle. Mile away.
They caught the guy out. They're not even looking for him anymore.
You grew up in Arizona too. Do you believe in licking toads and aliens probing you, or this is something we found common?
I lived in Arizona. I mean, that's my family.
No, I think it's generally everybody who grows up there has a very affinity for those two things, apparently, which I find amazing.
I didn't get into those too much. Okay. I was too busy sweating to death playing basketball outdoors in the summertime.
Right, because it's a bazillion degrees.
Yeah, it's a part of the country that's actively trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And reading comics, and that was basically my everyday life when I was growing up.
That's cool.
That's beautiful.
Cool.
Now you have to be pissed off at the Suns. You have to be frustrated like I am.
I'm not frustrated. I'm depressed.
We were so close.
I know. I know. For those of you who are listening at home and have the slightest interest in basketball, my beloved Phoenix Suns have played most of the season without 6 of their top 7 players. Yes. So they're literally hiring people off the street to play basketball for them.
Yes. 10-day contract after 10-day contract.
I had to turn down.
Are they holding raffles at the center? Calling out numbers and okay, you get to play center and
man, I wish.
To play forward.
They called me big guys. They had to turn them down.
When I was a kid, my mom used to work at the Phoenix Jewish Community Center, which is where the Suns practiced. And so I would get to go and hang out in the gym while the teams were practicing, and got to rebound for the guys when they were shooting. And I went to the coaches' camp and all that stuff. And that really sort of sealed my love for the team and for sports in general. So
that was when Barkley was there, and
way before.
Way
before.
Yeah. Barkley, I was in grad school when Barkley was going on.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in Texas, and I was sitting all by myself in a pizza parlor when Paxson hit the 3-pointer that doomed us in the finals. It was the most depressing day of my life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
He was Marco. That's okay.
Oh no, I actually think the Phoenix Suns are like, you guys blew Stoudemire. You didn't do anything with Barkley, so you get what you deserve. But I was actually going to go back to. Oh well, Detroit. We got the. Hey, listen, we're back-to-back champs out here. We had Jordan stole one from us. We should have been three-peating. So, you guys are cute talking basketball.
Yeah, that was the last century, right?
Yeah, what? Don't bring up the Pistons.
No. We took it in 2000s. You forget we came back and did it again against the Lakers.
But that wasn't a repeat.
Yeah, it was. We went back to back.
in the 2000s.
Yeah, we went back to back again in the 2000s. Yes, with the Prince team and the Billups team with Ben Wallace.
Sure that wasn't just 2004?
In my mind, it was 6. We won 6 in a row in that time.
Yeah, I think in my mind, yeah, exactly in your mind.
In your mind,
my
brain does that to me too, Marco.
Hey, listen, it must be all the cocaine with the cartoons. But hey,
yeah, I was trying to work my mind back. Who's the oldest son I could think of? I'm like, the original Larry Nance? Yeah, probably Larry Nance.
Yeah,
the original
he came
Larry
in
Nance
81.
I'm thinking of.
I was just trying to help BK out because he's been trying to ask this one question, so I was trying to get to it, and it turned into a Detroit Piston.
All right, let BK ask a question.
BK wants to know, how do you feel about the popularity of anime in America? I don't even know if you have an opinion on this, but I figure we'll at least give it to you. BK, don't come in here troll after I'm getting your question asked, dude. Done. All right, go ahead.
I think it's great. I think the more kinds of storytelling art forms that fans are. Thank you. See that?
He's a troll. You don't listen to him.
No, he's calling him a troll for delivering facts.
Suck it, Marco.
No, get him out of here. Mute BK. All right, go ahead.
All I'm saying.
Put your Ben Wallace jersey away.
I think that the more exposure to different kinds of storytelling styles that people get, the better. Anime is a very specific kind of comic presentation to a story. And if people are into it, they're into it. And if you're a fan of it and you're a big fan of it, I know how much it means to you, because whatever you're a fan of, it's super, super duper important. And every character is somebody's favorite. Every story is somebody's favorite. And if that's your thing, man, go for it. I went into a manga shop in Tokyo, and it was unbelievable seeing the shelves of that stuff and a number of rooms. I had no idea in the world there were that many manga titles, and they're just, it's incredible. It's crazy how popular it is, and I think it's great.
Cool.
If you're not watching anything, you got to try to check out Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. Was he in Showcase #1 with Fireman?
No,
we have an occasional
fighter man
here called Anime Peer Pressure, where we try to get people to watch shows. But Chainsaw Man would be definitely at the top of that list. But
okay,
kind of a darker.
Where do I find it?
It's on Hulu. It's on
Crunchyroll.
It's on a streaming service called Crunchyroll.
Okay, I'll look
for it. The best part about Chainsaw Man, though, is
it's a total write-off, Adam. It's a write-off.
Just like my career.
Yeah.
Is anime anything you touch your toes into to writing, or?
Okay, first of all, ew.
You gotta make it a foot fetish.
Clip that. Clip that. Clip it. Clip it. Do it.
Secondly, I did have a project where somebody brought to me a produced anime show that they were thinking of bringing over and repurposing for American audiences. And so they needed somebody to not dub it, but write English stuff for it. And it had to match the character's mouth movements. Right?
Oh, that's
which in animation, they call it lip flap. So, ew.
Right.
But you had to do that. And so I did that. It was almost impossible because the script didn't make any sense to me. It was the tape I got of the show was a Japanese story that had been translated into Portuguese, and then I got it. So I had no idea what they were talking about. It was in some parts, you're trying to just make up something that makes it work for the scene. I remember one of the lines I had to translate or come up with something as an alternative was, "I make you sucking on my monster sword." And
that sounds typical.
And it's a challenge. That's a real challenge. And I don't know whatever became of it. I heard that it tested lower than anything else in that studio's history.
What's
so
the name
I
of
did
this?
my job.
Let me write this down. What's the name of this?
Nope.
Yeah, what is the name of this?
You can spot a trap from a mile away.
Mile away.
The guy's Crunchyroll underneath me. What did he just describe? Suck my monster sword. Let's figure it out here.
That could be anything.
That's what it sounds like to me.
That's the problem, man. Anime, that could be anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was that was a Brady Bunch episode.
Marsha
for the American audience, right?
Oh my gosh!
You sound exactly like I do when I describe anime. Like it is just I don't
I get it, but I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it, but like, okay, I mean, teach your own. Like,
I wouldn't get it if I heard sentences like that.
That's what. Well, that's the one the first time I was introduced. I was at a con and they had it on a TV screen, and all you could do is see the subtitles, and it was about like this thing that eats children, but then poops out gold. And I'm like, what the shit? And they're like, this is one of the greatest anime titles of all time. What don't you get about it?
I know people like that. Yeah,
walking around and eating and shitting out gold. Like, what the hell are you?
People usually it's writers, not children, that get eaten. And then
there's one where a guy's right hand turns into a female.
That's our AI Hartman.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of AI, how do you feel
Jesus Christ.
They've just released an anime specifically for generating anime characters, right? So I see it as a tool. Like,
so in other words, taking art.
So if you can't draw, like if you're not good at drawing,
don't hire an artist. Yeah, steal his shit.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if you want, like, if you're learning to draw and you're not to that level that you want to be, and you have an idea in your head, you can generate something and base like a rough draft around it. Basically, you could trace your own images starting out.
So
like, when I was a kid, we would trace, images.
You know, also when you have a book report due at school, you can take the encyclopedia and copy all the words word for word out of it.
Wait a minute.
Them up just a little bit, maybe steal one from another book.
And I don't think you guys understand that's not. I don't think that's what's happening. Like,
that is what's happening. That's 100% what's the fuck's happening.
First of all, guys,
hold
on.
Playing a song.
Guys, if you're using an encyclopedia, first of all, you're in 1993.
Yeah.
Okay, go into Wikipedia, clipping and pasting. Clip and paste.
That's an old book report, man.
I mean, that's when you did the old school copy and paste.
Used to have people
cut it out.
Hitman. Hey, Hartman, let him answer. Go ahead. We did kind of barrel roll this one. So what's your opinion on it? So I don't know. There really is.
When did you start a comedy podcast? You're freaking solid gold, man.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
He goes, AI, speak now. You better be right now.
There's a big controversy going on the message boards and in Facebook and whatnot about AI and its place in comic books and other art forms. I have a hard time thinking of a filter as an art form, but maybe I'm just not there yet. And as time goes on and more people are using AI to create art, it'll feel more familiar to me. But right now, I don't think there's any substitute for an actual human being actually putting the work in on a tablet and getting that stuff drawn. There's just something about it that's more immediate to me than something that looks as manufactured as that. And right now, it feels like it's manufactured to me. And I look for the work that went into it. So that's just me. That's just me. If other people are into it, great. If it's people who, think that's a great tool to help them draw better or learn how to draw or what have you, or if they just like it, that's great. I think that's fine.
I think it's more of people getting their ideas out, like having a physical representation of their ideas, just by using prompts and storylines.
Yeah, but it's not original. But it's not original product. It's not original product, though. That's the problem with it.
Is it or isn't it? Because you're telling your own story with that stuff, though. So maybe the basis of the originals aren't original, or basis of the characters aren't original, but the story you're telling with what you do with that art is original. It's like,
so here's an example though. Let's say you're like, hey, I want to take Beast Boy and put his head on Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you have your picture. Let's say you drew Beast Boy, Sam drew Raven. Mm-hmm. They put them together. Okay, now you're going to profit. The problem isn't you're doing this for fan fiction, because like you grew up in the era of fanzines too. I'm a huge fan of fanzines, fan fiction stuff, all the old newsletters that used to came up. I understand that stuff and how that works. I have no problem with what you're saying. I don't think AI is the same thing, unfortunately, with that. I feel like even in that form of fan fiction, like Hartman was saying, you were creating your own stuff with other people's characters. That's fine because you're coming up with the original idea.
Not necessarily.
You're doing the hold on, Hartman. Stop talking.
That's not true, though.
Watch out.
You're giving.
Okay, what I'm saying here is like when you do that, you're doing your own structure forming and you're doing a bunch of that type of stuff. Like I get that. When you're using an algorithm to combine ideas from different places to put together and then saying, yeah, I like that. no, could you tune this up a little bit more? Could you tune? You're not actually building that structure for yourself. You're not building that character for yourself. You're not building that storyline for yourself. You're having other parts that have already been built by somebody else and interjecting. And that's what AI does use at this point. Now Hartman can start yelling at me. I'm going to turn him back unless you have anything to say. Then I'm going to turn back on. He's probably still yelling.
Well, I guess my question to you would be, how do you feel about sampling in music?
I'm not huge fans of it. I'm not.
Okay.
As long as the original creator's getting credited for it.
As long as they get paid, like unless you get paid, yeah, like
sure.
Like when Nicki Minaj does all her songs, she pays big back.
Being credited for being used in the AI art, which is why I think it's part of the difference. So I can be Rob Van Winkle and think I have written some dope rhymes and it'll really work over David Bowie's Under Pressure beat. But if I don't credit David Bowie for using his beat, then that's
all I'm saying is pay the man his money. I don't care. Like pay the man his money.
It's like make me Beast Boy mixed with something else, or give me like Wonder Woman with this character. Like you can actually describe the facial structure and features that you want in an image. It's not just give me Superman.
Yes,
with that.
I understand. I understand how it works, but it has to get a reference point. Its reference point isn't
like
a port or.
It's like you
pulling from an idea in your brain. Oh my god! Its reference point isn't
an
origin.
Like writing Wildcats, right?
This is like you pulling from an image in your head.
It's not.
I mean, when you draw an anime based on your idea.
Well, I can't draw worth of shit, so I don't draw
what are
anything.
you pulling from? Like, you're
talking to him now? Who are you talking to? I can't follow what he talks about. I mean, I love him to death, but I can't follow him. Are you talking to Adam now? Is this?
I'm talking to you.
I don't draw, motherfucker. I can't draw.
No, I'm saying that like
I can't draw shit. I just this man looks fucked up, so like I can't draw, bro. You're talking to the wrong guy.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can't draw. When you think of something though, like if you think of a character,
things deteriorate
Superman,
quickly.
who do you think of? What image do you think of?
I'm lost
from an idea. Like
no, I'm like, hey. You know Reeves. That's what I think. I think Reeves. I'm like, oh, dude, Reeves. It doesn't mean I'm gonna use his shit. So if I use Reeves,
all right, need them both.
I'm not educated enough about AI to know what you can and can't do. I just know that I prefer hand drawn stuff.
They aren't familiar with it either. So. Well, Marco isn't.
Okay, if you have a job, then we can keep talking. If you don't, then we can't.
Easy,
Marco.
So Marco just bitches.
Adam's gonna go. I was on this fucking podcast, and it took this fucking
fight broke out.
They were in different cities, and they beat the crap out of each other.
Oh no, he's just crazy, dude. I don't even. He doesn't like. I love him to death. He's just sometimes like. What are you
I'm way in
talking
New
about?
York. They can't reach me.
He's like, when you draw, I don't draw. Like, I don't know. I'm not good at drawing.
Yeah,
I get it.
We're talking to a writer, and you guys are arguing over AI.
I'm asking you when you think of an image, are you pulling from it?
I don't care. Hartman.
So Adam,
I think of an image for a story.
No, I'm just in general.
He's asking me, not the person we had for the interview. I don't know. He's asking me. Stop asking me questions.
No, I'm just saying this is a hypothetical, like overall, like when everybody thinks of something, they think of in their head, they pull from a reference point, right? Like
sure.
A Viking. What do you think of? Like you pull from a reference that they've got the hat with the horns, if that's what you're thinking of what a Viking is.
Oh, I think of Adrian Peterson. Sorry about that. He was the running back for the Vikings.
Okay, so you're pulling from a reference point, right?
But, yes, you're right. You're correct.
So that's what I get that AI takes from a pool of endless internet searches or whatever. You know, there's different engines based on that. There's one that's a waifu engine that just generates anime female characters. That's its data set. So I mean, just as a whole, there's tons of different spots. I get their signatures and artists are complaining because their signatures are showing up. I understand that. But I mean, it's like a knife. You can use it for different things. You can do evil things with it, or you can do survive with it. That's the way I see it.
I hear you.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we can appreciate you put a lot of thought into this, Hartman, but
I've put a lot of thought.
To do with anything we are talking about.
It does, because what Hartman's talking about, in a way, could be the future of the medium, right? And
they will replace you in a second.
Once this technology is out there, you're not putting it back in the box. So the question is, what's it going to become 5-10 years down the line? It's an important question. And again, I'm not educated enough to answer it, and I don't know what the ramifications of the technology are. I would like to think it would be used for good, But when has that ever happened?
Well, I mean, one of the parts that I think is worrisome, especially for you, is like when you're saying that you have a main writer, like one of the biggest uses for this already. I don't like, was it CG, whatever that does it, but they like they took like the cover letters and they went to the top 10 HR people and had them. Could you tell us which one was the AI cover letter done?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't. One person said they could. Yeah, one person said they could. The rest could. And like that's where it starts to get scary because you could start transitioning it. So they don't like, no offense, but they keep doing that. Are they, because they don't care if it's bland. They don't care I mean, we've seen it, especially unfortunately with DC and their movie products right now. They don't care what the product looks like as long as it gets consumed. So
be careful now. Be careful now. They do care what it looks like.
They do care. They shredded a bunch of stuff.
No one's working on those movies that thinks they're putting out anything less than something that they really wanted to tell. And there are a lot of people working on them, and they're working hard. Their vision of it just doesn't match up with yours.
No. Well, the problem is what I'm saying is they start to have a vision overall. They just canceled their universe again. Like if you can't keep on, I'm not saying all the hard people who are putting in their work. I'm saying like overall the way up management, the upper class management see something going some way. And no matter how much hard work the artists, the people like you are putting in there, all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're done with this. They're not this isn't what's producing what we want production wise. We're going to cancel and start over again. What's to say that they don't just cancel, start over again, and just use AI next time because they think they control it better?
Nothing says that, because
that's what I'm saying. That's the worrisome part. You know what I mean?
It's a business. It's not about the creative at that level. It's about are we getting a return on our investment with the characters? Are we maximizing the profit for our characters?
Well, I think I agree. I wasn't trying to offend the artist on the level. I was talking. What you just said was the exact same.
Don't worry.
I went into
clarified it better than I did,
and typed in what I wanted to say on Facebook and had it reworded, and it reworded it with punctuation, everything fixed, and complete sentences, grammatically correct. And
that's called autocorrect.
Like, holy shit, this is crazy! Like
people are going to car driving for you too.
They're going to start getting on Facebook and actually typing messages now that they can fix them and not have to worry about people complaining about their punctuation. So
well, you should spend less time on Facebook then, maybe posting, I guess.
Oh, I don't get on Facebook. For you. Get on IG.
Which artists have you worked with that produced the final product closest to what you envisioned in your writing?
That's a good question, Joe. Thank you.
That is a good question. Because
thank you, Joe.
Every artist that I've worked with has reproduced panels, or produced panels, I should say, that look exactly like how I imagined them. Every artist I have worked with has produced panels that were way better than what I imagined. And the part of the fun for me, because once the script is into the editor, it's out of my hands. I don't even know who the artist is going to be half the time, or I didn't when I was working at DC. You just hope they get close and tell the story well, but always there are surprises. I got a chance to work with some incredibly talented artists. I got to work with Howard Chaykin. I got to work with Tim Seeley, with Freddie Williams, with Ryan Benjamin, and they're all different. And if I'm not working with one of those writers for a long period of time, or I'm not familiar with their work, I don't know what the art is going to look like. I don't know what their strengths are. So I don't know how to play to those strengths, right? So if you're on a book for 18 months and you're working with the same artist the whole time, you know what they want to draw, you know what they like to draw, you know how they like to look at it, and you try to write to that. If it's an artist you don't know, you're hoping for the best. You're throwing darts. No one that I have worked with turned in a book that I was like, what the hell is this? Nobody did. There was always some kind of pleasant surprise in there, or realization of the vision.
That's awesome.
Have you ever had the chance to say, hey, I'd like this guy to work on this project?
Yes.
I like his work. Oh, good.
Yes.
Hey.
In fact, that happened with Howard. I was working on I got handed a Justice Society story for one of their 100-page giants. And I wanted to tell a story that was set in the 40s or the 50s, around the McCarthy era. And the editor asked me, who do you see drawing this? And I'm like, well, ideally, I'd love to see Howard Chaykin drawing it. And he said, okay. And we hung up the phone, and he called me back 2 weeks later. And he's like, Howard's going to do it. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So that was a dream, because Howard's been one of my favorites for as long as I can remember. The other time it happened, actually the last story I wrote for not the last story, the next to last story I wrote for DC back in 2014 was a Wonder Woman story when they were doing Sensation Comics featuring Wonder Woman. and there were short stories from different creators. And I wrote this story that took place sort of with the 70s era, 80s era, early 80s era Wonder Woman. And the editor asked me who I thought would be really good for it. And I said, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez was the first artist I saw draw Wonder Woman. And so that's my Wonder Woman. And the editor called me back in 2 weeks and said, Jose is going to do it. And next thing you knew, awesome. there were your words coming out of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's drawings.
Ask him this one.
Howard Chicken seems pretty intense from his interviews. How was your experience with him?
My experience with Howard has been nothing but fantastic. He is the nicest. He's going to hate this. He is the nicest, most big-hearted, generous guy that maybe I've met in comics. He'll let you ask him anything. He'll talk about anything. He'll give you his opinion on anything, and he does not pull punches. He is a truth teller. He is one of the great creators in our industry. He is one of the great personalities in our industry, and he would be in any industry. You know, he wrote television for a while. I'm sure that people had pictures of Howard in their head from that as well. He's been nothing but good to me, and I've been lucky enough to get to know him a little bit over the last couple of years. We have lunch every once in a while, and I treasure sitting and chatting with him about. He's the link between so many different eras in comics history, and he's still producing really great work. Did you guys read Too Dead to Die? The thing he did with Mark Guggenheim?
Yes.
It's really fun. It's really fun. He's still producing great, vital work that I think looks good in any era.
Make sure next time you talk to him, bring up this Star Wars work and how great it was.
We've talked about that.
Yeah. We know how he loves it.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, well, you know, but a lot of artists are that way about their early work.
Yeah,
true.
Probably.
They don't. They look back at it. They're like, ew. I look back at it and I see the energy that was present in that work that has made its way into that artist's evolution. You can see what he learned from working in Star Wars by looking at Too Dead to Die. You can see the bones of that, and that's what I love. I love Howard's early work.
Is there something, because that's not unique to him. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of artists and writers you come across and you're like, you fanboy, and they're like, yeah, and you're like, what do you mean, yeah? And it's not their favorite piece of work. That might be like, do you have that where you see somebody fanboys over something of yours and you're just like, I mean, I like it, but like that's not the piece of work I would think would define me, and it seems to everyone's. So no, you're a happy artist with whatever you get.
I'm too flattered that anybody even reads my stuff to say, you know, you should really read this. This is better. I wouldn't chase anybody away from anything that I've written. I'm just too happy that they actually read it.
That's cool.
You know,
yeah, I think you see that a little bit more. I mean, I know you got to pay your bills. Like, so like sometimes people pick up project. I mean, like, is VeggieTales high on your list of like animations you wanted to do for some reason, or is it like?
No, but it's such a recognizable brand, and it's so big and so popular with so many people that it was cool to work on.
Is it a good check? Is it a good check?
And to tell it, well, you know, it was fine. It was, but I got to write a superhero story for VeggieTales.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
You know, and that was fun. You know, there's something in every job that's really, really cool to do.
Oh, that's cool.
Whether it's what you're writing or who you're working with.
For sure. Dang it! I wish we had something that you were bitter at. I really wanted the bitter. Bitter artist story. I want to see the bitter artist story somewhere.
I'm plenty bitter with
the traps from a mile away.
This one time I had
to myself. There are stories I wish I had back.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think every writer has that. I think every artist has that.
That's natural.
You know, my first regular assignment for DC was Robin, and our first storyline, which was editorially driven, was to turn Batgirl, at that time Cassandra Cain, into a villain. DC wanted to beef up Robin's rogues gallery, and they thought a great way to do it would be to have Cassandra go off the rails and become a villain. And it became a big question why she did it and what happened and the whole thing. I was a relatively new comic book writer, and I made, I think, what's a common mistake, which is that I plotted out way too far in advance. So I had an idea of when I was going to resolve that mystery and what was going to happen, but fans aren't willing to wait that long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we had to tell this whole story in 3-4 issues, and my name's on it, and I take full responsibility for it. But if I had it back to do over again, I know that I could make that story work better than it did. I don't think I wrote that story to the best that story needed to be told.
Do you think we should start fansies back up, and that way you guys can write the stuff you wanted to write that you couldn't quite publish out there in the illustrated world? That way, like that story you're talking about, we get it's like the Snyder cut. We get to do that from now on, and then you know what I mean? We get like that type of comic book writing, because I do think there's like I think that's like the campy and like it is. I mean, I know it's you old man, get off your porch type of talk, but I miss those type of days where you actually had gotten not decent writing, but like you didn't have to file we need this to be a mini, or we need this in a 12 or 10 part thing so we could do 2 trade paperbacks out of it, and we need our stories cut up this way, where they could actually extend for a while, and you could really read some original stuff that was like maybe not, I don't know, I'm not going to say PC because that's not what it is, but doesn't fit the tailored line of comic book writing that's always been there, but there's more there now. You see a very like stringent pattern, especially with the big 2, on how they want to format their stuff. And I think some of it tailors around, in my opinion, at least tailors around like secondary sales. Like Marvel's big secondary sales get TPBs out there as quickly as possible, and they get your season and your season, to make that profitability off of it.
For sure. And I think you're going to see that change a little bit as we go along, because bookstores are disappearing. And more stuff is available digitally, where it doesn't matter how long it is or how long it goes. But I think companies have an idea of what an audience's tolerance is for the length of a story. I think they have a pretty good feel for that. Nobody's advertising a 36 issue story line. If 4 issues is pretty easily digestible, 12 if you're really ambitious, and there are ways to write those stories that work. You treat them all like any other story. They're 3 acts, and you're just telling them over this number of issues. So you plot out what needs to happen in this, what happens here. You get to the end of your act 1 by issue 3. You get to the end of your act 2 by issue 9, and you're done by issue 12. And there's a way to do that and parse that out. And I don't know that I was super skilled at it when I was writing Robin. I've learned a lot since then, and I would love to be able to go back and apply that. I know that fans didn't love the story. Like I said, I stand behind it. It's my name on it. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus for it. And I see now what I could have done better, and I know what mistakes I made. And I think every writer's like that.
Yeah, but that's that's just you're developing as a writer as you move on too. I think you're a little hard on yourself for that.
Well, but fans
Marco
don't care about that. And they shouldn't have to care about that. It's not, we're watching him grow. Isn't that nice? They're spending a lot of money every month to get their characters telling kinds of stories that interest them, and they deserve a fair point.
Yeah. With in respect to that, I think the comic book industry has always been look at me, I was the first one to buy the McFarlane writing, whatever, or I got in a newsletter. So I do think in the general sense of like the grand overall scheme of the fan, but I think there is still that hardcore fan base. Like we say it here a lot too. We read comics. We don't cover the, collect the covers. I think there is still that huge fan base for that. And I think some of it gets shorthanded lately. And I don't think it's the artist's problem or the writer's fault. I think it is because they're trying to get that, it doesn't matter if the art's completely finished. It doesn't matter if the story has bad holes in it or whatever to finish off some of the stuff. As long as we get it out there, as long as we get the 3 in, as long as we get the TPB in time, as long as we can sell this out, we can get it done. I think it kind of does hurt some of the quality, unfortunately. Well, I think seeing somebody learn, I think some of the independent comic book things, when you get a Stray Dogs, or even I was talking to Charles today, and when you see 8 Billion Genies, when you see those little things hit, it's because are the storylines that great? To be honest with you, even though I like both those people, they weren't the most amazing thing I ever read, but it was cool to be there at the beginning. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And see it develop and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that's all I'm saying. I think we're missing.
I can't speak to the decision makers and how they come to their, I'm not in the editorial meetings. I'm not in the business meetings. I think that what happens in comics a lot of the time is what happens in television, is that there's not patience to let a show grow and turn into what it's going to be. The pilot episode of a TV show is rarely what the show turns out to be. The Friends premiere was nothing like Friends 7 seasons later. Same with Seinfeld or whatever.
Never saw it.
And God, I feel old.
No, it's all right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But you need executives and you need editors who are willing to say, no, I believe in this. We need to let it grow. Right. They're headed somewhere. And I think that if you haven't demonstrated that in 2-3 issues, you're out the door. And we're bringing in another book because someone else has an idea. Let's try it. And now with the notion of continuity across a line of comics like Marvel or DC, where it's so flexible as to be almost non-existent. You're not serving a greater continuity a lot of the time. You're telling your story of that character. And if it doesn't immediately hit with an audience in an editor's or a publisher's eyes, they're not going to spend any more money on you.
But do you think we're going to...
Can I ask you a question to follow up on that? I like that idea because in comics, I mean, they're working, you're a couple issues ahead. You get a couple issues done before they're actually released. And if the editors get antsy and they decide to pull a story or back off of it, they're a couple of months out. How far advanced in is TV? Because they're also filmed ahead, before they decide to pull something and say, you know what, this isn't going where we wanted it to go. Which medium do you think gives you that longer leash? The television or comic books to kind of see that story through?
I honestly don't know because both of them have a post-production phase that takes a while. And I don't know. I mean, I know there are shows like South Park that actually come up with an episode in the week that it's going to air and somehow get it out there.
That's crazy.
And there are other shows like the HBO prestige dramas that, each episode takes 6 months from story meeting to finished product. I don't know. I know that there are plenty of shows that have been canceled with 6 or 7 episodes that never aired. And I think that there are comics where books have been canceled with 2 or 3 scripts written or art done, and it happens. And it sucks. And sometimes you get to see those stories and sometimes you don't. What can I say? I mean, like I said, every book is somebody's favorite and somebody else's least favorite. And if there's more of one than the other, that determines what you're going to see.
I just worry about the longevity of it because and maybe it's because, I think a lot of people that watch this show, a lot of people we get in here are like core fan bases. And no matter as much as BK will joke around in the chat, or we all read and we all like, there is a form of continuity. Like me and Pete do a Star Wars show on Sundays, and it is a huge, and Styx has been there before too, but it's a huge talking point of like continuity, consistency, and like the story group. And they have now started to be flexible with it. And I believe not a loud core, but a big core of the fan base is not happy with that. And I think you kind of lose, like, sure, you get your casuals, but like also too, your casuals, like they give you the bonuses, but they don't pay the bills every day. You know what I mean? And I'm worried that like with our industry, with the comic book industry, like, is this something like my kids are getting used to going to cons right now? Like they love it. They love going to shows and stuff like that. Because we work there, everybody knows them. But when they're my age, are they going to be able to do it too? Or is it just not going to be a thing anymore? Because at that point, who cares? There's no like, sure, there'll be the nostalgia factor or whatever, but there won't be like the true nostalgia factor of like, I remember that storyline as a kid. I remember this, how I felt emotionally and how I was attached to this product. You know what I mean?
With respect, I disagree because I think that comics will be around in some form or other forever.
Oh, I don't disagree. They'll be around.
Hear me out. And I think the characters will be around forever. And the stories that are coming out now will be, for people that are your age now, when they get to be that age, they'll remember the stories that were told today. And that will be their version of the characters. That will be their version of the continuity that they love. And they'll enjoy going back and seeing how other people did it. But your first impression of a character, your first experience with a character tends to be the vision that you see in your head when you think about that character all the time. And I think that's going to happen with today's audiences too. It may come from the movies. It may come from television shows. But like when I think of Wonder Woman, when I picture Wonder Woman in my head, and I'm not saying I do this all the time because I'm married.
You do.
But when I think of Wonder Woman, I'm picturing a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez illustration.
I see Linda Carter.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that there was a long run. That was a long run for Lopez. I mean, there was those, like when you see those core runs, you see long. Everybody has their own thing with a long run, and it doesn't seem like it seems like they're more disposable. The runs are more disposable now, right? Like
100%.
Like you said, so like I think that's part of the ingrainment is a longer run where it's not as because it becomes more. Don't you feel it becomes more generic?
No, I think that our attention spans have changed. We don't have the tolerance as an audience for longer stories anymore. And so of what felt like a very short story of 3 or 4 issues can feel like a really big story to somebody who's coming into the reading comics now. And for them, that's a long run. because they don't have the experience of years prior.
Okay.
So those characters, that's the way they're first going to experience them. That's how they're going to think of them going forward.
So this generation is the TikTok era, where everything's like 30 seconds. You get whatever it is you want out of it, and you're done, and you're either satisfied or not. Where
and you come back or you don't.
Where us, you read the books, you get the 6. That's what we had. Yeah. So like movies now, like you said, they're using books from the 2000s because a lot of the or 20 kids, that's their era.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
they're not going to pull from the 70s for us because nobody wants to watch a movie with the Avalanche Man or the villain of the week type of characters.
Well, I don't. Wait, I'm sorry.
The pendulum could.
Yeah, I wasn't around during the 70s. I still like that. I still watch that stuff, and I think I think it just. Well, we'll see. Ask what Mark has a question for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's all good. He says, Mr. Beach, what do publishers expect for new comic writers? Do they want a guy with an English degree, or are they looking for someone with just a great imagination, or is it just you got to know someone?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know what editors now want because I haven't worked in comics for a couple of years. But I would imagine that what they look for first and foremost are people with a lot of ideas and great ideas. And can you tell a story? Do you know how to tell a story? You can teach somebody format, but you can't teach what makes a great and a cool story. And I think they're looking for those people. No one's ever asked me to show them my diploma. So I don't think that's a requirement. I think they just want it. They want somebody who is reliable. I think that's a big thing. Someone who's going to turn in a script every month, and someone who knows how to tell a story and can match the voice of that character. If it's not an original, if you're looking for a new Batman writer, you want someone who knows Batman.
Yeah.
And I think that's really how it works. And as far as knowing people, it helps. It definitely helps, but it's not the only way in.
And I got to imagine it's easy to fill the criteria you even outlined as it is. Like anybody can have like one great idea, but then what?
Sure.
Like a guy off the street, I got this great idea. Okay.
That's the thing about comics. You've got to feed the beast, man.
Exactly.
And television too. There's another show coming. There's another book coming out. You've got to get those stories out. And it's an art. It's really an art. And it's an art of creativity and the art of time management.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get the work done and can it be at high quality? Dave Sim said, get good, get fast, get good and fast.
In that order?
Yeah.
Yeah. It probably helps. That's probably the order you want to do. You want to
Absolutely
get good so you attract the eyes.
Don't underestimate the value of being reliable.
Right.
Well, we've kept you here for an almost hour and 20 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to promote? You were awesome. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to promote? Is there any final words you'd like to say? Or
I can spot a trap a mile away.
Keep your eyes open. Keep your head on a swivel.
Right. No, thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure. It's fun to talk to you guys.
It was a lot of fun. We appreciate it.
Debate topics back and forth. And I hope the audience got a kick out of it too. So hopefully I'll see you guys again on the comic book page. If not, I'm still doing animation. And when this graphic novel, if it ever gets going, I will let you guys know about it.
Yeah. Let us know.
Awesome. Please do.
All right.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
Have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Well, that was awesome.
Now we're going to interview Pete. Pete, tell us.
All right. What do you guys need to know?
Oh, that guy was good. Good job, guys. That guy was good.
He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
He was really cool, man.
He
had a lot of good insight.
Crap a mile away.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. He's a comedy writer.
Kept trying.
So funny.
I kept swinging for it, see if we could get something out of him, and just.
I was waiting. What you were saying with the fanzine.
Guys,
that was the perfect meld for Hartman to come in. That's where AI art comes in.
Yeah. Guys,
the writer can tell the story they want to tell. AI art does it for you.
Yeah.
All I know is there's a hell of an argument going on in the chat.
Chat the whole time. You do know that Hartman's Kirby, right? Everybody just, holy shit. Like, we had a great guest on, great stuff, and the chat's just screaming at each other. Like, look.
Awesome.
No, so, I mean, he's just not, I would, guys, save your breath. They're not going to get it. All right, great interview. Thank you. Thanks, Mubio.
Hey, well, we're gonna finish the slideshow.
Yeah.
We'll just continue on.
Thanks, Ed.
The next
Who
thing
didn't
is
embarrass themselves, Ed? We embarrassed ourselves well. I think we did a great job.
I didn't have
you
to
guys-
explain the T-shirt. Thankfully.
I think this is the only show that I can make fun of somebody else's slides because I can't read what the fuck that print. Why is there even print on this page?
It's so I can read it. Malcolm in the Middle star Frankie Muniz aims to be at the front of the pack on the racetrack as he announces his intent to become a full-time driver in the NASCAR circuit this year. In an Instagram post on January 11th, Muniz confirmed his racing return in the ARCA Minerva series. He talked about his excitement. Actually, who fucking cares?
Ain't that just a Dodge Neon? Ain't that just a Dodge Neon in an abandoned church parking lot? What the fuck are we doing here?
What's wrong with a Neon?
Also, he's not gonna have time to drive because they're gonna
That's
make
my
a
first
Malcolm
car.
in the Middle movie.
Who is
He's
this
gotta
guy?
make a movie.
It's Malcolm in the
Malcolm
Middle.
in the Middle.
What was that about?
A really
Malcolm?
smart kid who had Walter White as his dad.
And two brothers.
That
He
sounds
was in
like
the
a
middle.
fucking terrible show, dude.
Yeah, it's
Also, Frankie Muniz is Phoenix resident.
No, he had three brothers.
The two brothers. He was the middle
Okay.
son.
Does it have anything to do with driving
Yeah,
Dodge
but he still had
Neons
three
in church
brothers.
parking lots?
Malcolm
Dewey?
had two brothers.
Oh my
He
god!
had three.
Malcolm.
You had Dewey, right?
Yeah.
You had the
And
short-haired
Dewey.
kid. I can't remember his name, the mean one.
Dewey.
But then they had the
Dewey.
oldest brother,
Louie.
who was the brother
That
of
was
the
away
kid from
at-
that 70s show.
Yeah.
He
Who
was
you
at
doing,
the
Louis?
house.
Who you doing, Louis?
He was in military school or whatever. But there were
Yeah.
still four of them.
So you put up a picture of a guy in a church parking lot so that we could all argue what the name of some TV show's brothers'
So
names
if
are.
you're interested in seeing him race, he will be debuting at the Daytona International Speedway this weekend, driving number 30 Ford Mustang.
Oh, he's driving a Ford Mustang.
Was that today or tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't know. And my final news story for today is
We said
Ryan
this weekend,
Johnson
so
is
it probably happened.
Pete. He was in the middle. That's why it was Malcolm in the Middle.
I
So-
know,
Yeah,
but there were still four of them.
He could be the second middle or first middle, I guess. I don't. I'm lost. I got no clue. I never watched that
It's
shit.
all right.
Oh.
I'm just saying there were four of them.
They had a fifth kid later. What? Wait, what the fuck?
They did. They did have a kid.
None of
later.
this make TK. This doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah, the last season they had a
All of it's unimportant. Let's get to Cena.
So Ryan Johnson is right to praise the acting chops of fucking Dave Bautista, but the former wrestler is still outdone by the surprising range of John Cena.
John Cena!
And the reason he's saying that is because The Rock sucked, and Cena was so awesome in Peacemaker
He was.
that it shows that Batista has a little bit of he needs to work a little bit harder. And that
You're kidding me. The dude that just walks around and doesn't get humor compared to of course. What is this nonsense? Can we just go back to this? You
Well,
can't see me.
He still wants to do more acting. He was okay in Glass Onion, but he wasn't asked to do a lot.
Wait, time out. We're once again comparing two wrestlers' actings.
yes,
That's
What are you talking about? Like those dudes got to act.
You know the
every
whole
week.
the whole correlation with see nah, like you can't see me, see nah.
oh, we get it.
Did you
We-
hear
no,
that story?
Like
How he came up with that?
Okay, work, never give up into it.
He
All right.
said, "You
I
can't
agree
see
with
me.
Astro here.
See nah."
Eagly is the real winner.
Get your camera. Get your camera out. He's hugging me.
Oh, dude.
Let's see.
That's a lot of
Okay,
words on
so-
a page.
Plus, he could play the piano. He was playing Home Sweet Home.
Right?
That was Cena.
Joe says, I'm sorry. What's the story here? There's no story
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I think it was just so we could do this. Ready, Sam?
All the
His
story
name
was
is John Cena!
everybody thinks that
Ruthless aggression.
Batista is this great actor, but Peacemaker showed that Cena has an actual range to his acting.
Yeah, he could rap and then he could do this.
And on that note, that leads us to we have our worst and best covers of the week.
Dude, John Cena's real name is John Cena, by the way. That was hard to talk about. His name is John Felix Anthony Cena.
That ain't true.
It is Wikipedia, dude. The internet where your AI is, go on it, type his name.
No.
John Felix Cena, CENA.
No, I don't believe it.
So Batman pooping.
Okay. So
on that point, let's get into the picture of Batman taking a shit.
Right.
This is what I picked for. This is the face you make after you got done eating Taco Bell and you are running to the bathroom. And this is Batman the Joker, the Daily Duel #3, the Jason Shaw.
So this is the whole picture. This is not a constipated look. This is a clench and pray.
Yes, this is you trying to get your keys in the door.
Wait, time out. This is actually a cover? This is a cover?
Yeah. This is him undoing his belt. He's just trying to get the utility belt down.
Oh,
was this done by AI? Did they like Batman taking a shit and this is what you get?
Yes,
they could have done better.
Sean Alexander, man.
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna blow an O-ring.
You can't get the utility belt down, man.
What the
fuck?
Have
have this outer underwear. Why did I put on these outer underwear?
So this is definitely worst cover of the week, right? They can't get worse than this.
He's about to drop a grumpy. About to drop a grumpy.
Yep, about to bust a grumpy.
Yeah, I got some on my battering.
I have the Wolverine.
What the fuck?
Classic homage cover.
Is that Jai Courtney as the Wolverine?
Dude, the fuck is wrong with his
face? What the fuck is that? What's it a homage of, dude?
That Batman cover?
That might be right. You might be right.
No, he looks like he's telling a joke at the frat house. That's what he looks like.
Right here.
Yeah, right.
That's what Eagle Heart sees him at the con this year.
Yeah, Mark, I know that's the guy's name's John Cena. I don't. Hartman doesn't know that, but yes, we know.
No, I was bullshitting.
It's okay.
What's wrong with what is this though? This is an actual cover. You guys didn't make this shit up.
This is great.
He looks like he's laughing. Right?
Okay.
Like, hey. Sarah. The Fonz on TV. Oh my gosh, that guy's hilarious.
Hey.
This is not a good
shark.
What the fuck's the teeth thing? Like, yeah, you remember what's his name? Jim Carrey when he was doing Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh fuck.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
I said that. Skeet, skeet, skeet. Like, what are we doing here, bro? This is bad. This is bad.
It just wasn't.
It's hilarious. I knew a guy in law school who looked just like that. He was always drinking beer.
Yeah.
And last we have the JRJR Amazing Spider-Man 17 homage cover. As Matt says, please stop this man at this point. It's not his worst work
compared to the other two. This isn't bad at all.
Yeah, this is the best of the three.
Yeah, this is the best of the three, but at the same time, is
that supposed to be Peter Parker?
Yeah.
It's
not even just it's the whole layout of it is just kind of like, why is the trade dress over there? And then
I mean, compared to the other two, like you got to start off with this one because the other two are just like you got Batman taking a shit and Fire Marshal Wolverine. Like this ain't good, dude.
Yeah, this is just it's like AI did this.
Yeah, it just wasn't good. But now that we've talked about worst covers, let's actually talk about some good covers.
Wait, do we not vote on this?
No, we don't.
Yeah, we just talk about it.
I think Batman won.
Vote. I mean,
yep.
Yeah,
Batman
it's definitely between Batman and
Batman's
bad and this Wolverine, dude. Yeah. I chat. What is it? Is it this or is it that? Is it Batman or is it Wolverine? Oh
no! Go back to Batman. Go back to Batman.
Go back. Oh,
notice how he's doing like a Rocky thing with his lower lip there.
There's also the eye fucking thing. Like he's hemorrhaging the eye is. He's like got a hemorrhoid that's about to pop too.
That's Rambo, dude. That's a Rambo face.
Like what the fuck is going? Okay,
go
back to Wolverine.
Put on a cowl.
Traced over a Rambo movie cover.
Adrian.
Rambo movie poster, and they put Batman cowl on it. That's John. That's Sylvester Stallone. That's Tyson John Rambo.
Tyson Hartman made up. Mm-hmm. All right, next up, go back over. Dude, come on, that's the worst. It's got to be Wolverine.
It's Wolverine.
Something about Wolverine just is like
that's so funny to me.
Dude,
like,
what the
like
fuck?
This is the frat guy.
Granoff too. That's just
days.
not.
He's like, hey, you guys you want me to get you a cold one? I'll get you a cold one.
I completely agree with Tyson. There is blood coming out of Batman's ass.
Oh my god.
He's smiling like Nicholson.
He needs the preparation wipes. All right, next. All right, let's go. Let's go, Beth Weeks. Let's go, Best. I think it's Wolverine.
I think
Wolverine's fucked.
Well, I guess you're right, man.
Wolverine's fucked.
Hidden in shadow.
Yeah.
So for best covers, I picked this Bjorn Barnett's cover of Ghost Rider.
Versus Diesel.
What about Exhaust?
You're
a big fan of Exhaust?
This reminds me of a lot of like the 2000 AD art you'd see like around the Dread times and stuff like that. You get good shit. I actually like this, unfortunately, because it reminds me of that type of shit.
Looks like the guy from Fury Road.
Yeah, like that would be it. Like they do these like little.
I had a brother.
Stories, yeah. They're like similar art, just a different art form.
Next, we have the Mary Jane and Black Cat #2, the Hughes demonized cover. What I liked about this cover is I actually like the depth of field that Hughes did.
Oh yeah, the fuzzy.
I always think it's weird when Hughes does the depth of field thing, though. It's like,
no, you don't like it.
It's like, why are you making that shit blurry? Because he did it on the Superman covers occasionally. I'm like, it's messing me up. Cool. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's.
I like the first one better.
The art makes my eyes squint.
Yeah, this makes me remember. This reminds me of what was the Blair Witch trial. Like it sounds like a good idea, but then when you see it, you're like, this isn't a fucking good idea.
It was never a good idea.
Astro says, "He's saying, smell my finger."
Oh yeah, dude, that's pretty good.
Okay, next we have the Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duel #3, the Jason Sean Alexander Joker card stock cover.
That's actually pretty good
like
for
this.
I think sometimes
I
think sometimes the fucking Joker covers, everybody tries to be too fucking cute with them.
So is the Batman cover and this Joker cover meant to be kind of a pair?
Oh, go back to the shitting Batman cover.
Is Joker watching Batman shit and laughing at him?
Or is Batman like strangling Joker or something? Like the end of the Killing Joke?
Maybe
no.
Almost like a connected cover.
They're shitting back to back on love seat toilets.
I sent you a picture of what Batman looks like while taking his shit.
I unfortunately, BK, what are you doing today? You can't agree with everything I say. All right, I do agree with BK, unfortunately, though.
Joker has 1,000.
I think I might go Joker.
Top right.
He does have a lot of teeth.
I think nostalgia. I like the other one better. I guess
he doesn't have too many though. They're just all there. That's all.
I mean, this is the best Joker cover I've seen.
He has a million teeth. Look at his bottom row of teeth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What is it? 14?
11, 12.
Oh my god! 14, I almost 14, said something.
Maybe 16.
Okay, then that's too many.
He's got a few
like 28 or something. I'm not a dentist. I don't know.
This is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing now. Okay.
You yelled at Hartman about AI in front of our guests. So you know what? Yeah, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, you guys have like a 5-minute
slide me about it instead of talking to the artist about it. Why are you? I can't fucking draw. I don't give a shit.
It doesn't matter if you can't draw.
Oh Jesus! Thanks, Sam.
That's irrelevant.
So,
all right, so what's this?
That pick was the Mary Jane and Black Cat #2 cover. I was on the fence about this one.
Yeah,
and a lot of it is Mary Jane's right here.
Yeah, I like. Really? You like that? I like the Black Cat. I think the Black Cat is
more worried about having Mary Jane's butt
comprehensive.
Oh yeah, Mary Jane. I'm not. Yeah.
Where did her other butt cheek go?
Yeah, that's you.
She got one. The other one disappears behind her head somewhere.
If this was just Black Cat, it's very tastefully done. It looks nice. You wouldn't have a bunch of you guys spanking off to it all the time. It looks good. Mary Jane, on the other hand, looks like an elf with one.
What about spider kitties? What about the spider kitties?
I do like this with the cats.
Yeah, what is
Cats
what?
are cool.
Oh,
That's a
cat's got
cat.
masks.
Oh, I didn't even notice the cat's got masks. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Who did this one?
Spider cat. Spider
Affleck.
cat.
So is Mary Jane half Elven in this book, or
A little bit,
Looks like
yeah.
she almost
She's
looks
from
like
Rivendell.
Yeah. Is that a Lord of the Ring reference, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for that. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. Kyle got it. Kyle understood the assignment. Simon, I don't think about it. Wait, are we going to judge? Which one do you guys think is the best? This is what I want to know. I want to know what the
Oh
chat
shit!
thinks.
Here.
Of the best? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Joker still.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider's fucking dope.
Yeah, I'm torn between Ghost Rider and the Joker.
My only problem with the
Yeah.
Ghost Rider is they have a fucking Sears fucking home picture background. Like, what's with the planned like blue background? Go to the Ghost Rider. Look at the background. What is it? It looks like you got your school photo or your pictures, your yearly pictures for your mom. Like, what is
Ugly
that?
backdrop.
It's just smoggy from the exhaust. That's
Yeah,
all
dude.
it is.
Yeah. It's a dark room. Ghost
Or is it
Rider's
something
giving
deeper?
off the only light in the room, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
to be in a
just
Sears.
again, they're taking their Sears picture.
We
I had to
called it
take my brother to get my mom pictures every year.
Bob Ross.
That's the
Bob
background.
Ross, take your fucking happy tree fucking backgrounds and fuck off. This is the winner this week. All right,
No.
there we go.
It's Joker.
Okay.
It's Joker.
Let me.
Hey, that's cool. I like that.
All right. Junji Ito Maniac is a collection of animated adaptations of the works of Junji Ito, debuting worldwide on Netflix January 19th. That's this week. So if you guys like creepy horror, we've looked at some of his works on the WTF manga. The latest one we looked at was the Grease Kid. Remember that kid who was squeezing all his greasy zits into his sister's face?
oh yeah.
Yep.
That story is not going to be adapted in the series, but a lot of these other ones are, including Hanging Balloons, which is a very creepy campfire story about balloons that look like human faces going around and killing people.
So it's the sequel to the Red Balloon.
Yeah, and then Ice Cream Bus, which is another one about a bus that takes people and promises to serve them ice cream, but then more nefarious things are afoot. Look forward to Junji Ito Maniac if you're a fan of creepy horror fare.
Okay, so can we do it again? Mainly English, because all I heard was pedophiles and ice cream buses. And what?
I can't help your dyslexia, Marco.
I don't. What is this nonsense?
It's not
It sounds
nonsense. It's great stuff. You gotta check it out. Netflix, January 19th. When you see this thumbnail, you'll know to check it out.
I'll pass.
When you say horror, like what kind of horror are we talking? Like Tales of the Dark Side type horror, where it's kind of doesn't really show you anything, but you kind of get the sense of it.
Well, the one story that I've mentioned here, Hanging Balloons, is about giant head-shaped balloons that go around and try to kill the people who they look like. And if you pop the balloon, your head pops in real life. And and it's really creepy and it's really weird. And all of his stories are really like that. And it does show you kind of the gruesome, grotesque parts, because that's where the horror comes from, is the tension from the body horror.
So you can't pop the balloon or your own head will pop, but if the balloon is trying to kill you.
Yep. It has a
By
rope.
popping itself?
It has a rope with a noose at the bottom, and if it catches you, it hangs you in the air.
Oh,
99 red balloons.
Yeah.
99 Ziegler.
They're super weird premises, but they're really creepy and really fun. So this is something I'm looking forward to.
Y'all need more hugs. All right, what's next?
Next up, we have a new development in One Punch Man this week. One Punch Man. I know all you guys are fans. You guys remember when season 1 hit many years ago. We're looking forward to season 3 coming out sometime this year, probably towards the end of the year. But in the comic is still going. It comes out about once every 10 days or so. And this week, a long-awaited battle began in the comic. Saitama, when I put it in the slide, it said Tatsuya. It autocorrected to Tatsuya, but it's Tatsumaki, not Tatsuya.
Tatsuya.
Tatsumaki means terrible tornado. So Saitama versus Tatsumaki are kicking off. So look for that fight in the next couple weeks.
Sweet.
Cool.
But I thought he has one punch.
Dude, One Punch Man's. Hey, don't you joke on One Punch Man, Pete.
I'm just playing.
This week's WTF manga is Assassination Classroom. This is actually one that a lot of people really enjoy. I read through the whole thing. It's really fun. But the premise is super bizarre, like a lot of manga are. This one classroom at this one school gets a new teacher, and he is basically a happy face emoji with a lot of yellow tentacles. He looks like an alien. And he teaches the class their normal subjects, but in order to pass the class, every student in the classroom has to try and kill him before the end of the year.
Nice. Like a dream for a lot of kids.
It's really weird, but it's also really good. So the way that it progresses throughout the series, it will take you by surprise. So if you're looking for a weird one that actually has a lot of heart, I would recommend Assassination Classroom.
Not to ruin the story, but does the teacher, like, how far does the teacher defend himself against the assassinating students?
The teacher is almost invulnerable. So
no. What I mean is, like, his retribution to an attacking student. Like, are they there in the following Monday?
Only one episode.
His goal is to make sure that his goal is to make sure they all pass their classes. He's not trying to kill anybody. He's trying to make sure they pass their classes.
I gotcha. Okay, that's more where I was getting at. Like, if one came at him, like, then what? Like,
he grades them on their technique, and then he lets them try again.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, they got more than
okay. I thought all you Magna lovers just like to get the probing of the tentacles when it comes into the Magna thing.
You focus in on.
Oh my gosh, you called it Magna.
Whatever.
You always called it Magna.
Magma.
I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or not.
Listen,
Japanese magma.
Look, I don't get the infatuation with the Magnas. I don't get infatuation with all the tentacle stuff you guys like inserting everywhere. I don't get it.
Historical shit.
Sounds good. Okay, One Punch Man is awesome because he punches people.
That's it for the big anime news.
Nice.
It's been a little slow because we're kind of between seasons right now, but things you can look out for on the anime side, you've got Trigun Stampede that's just started airing. The Tokyo Revengers season 2 is out, and those are kind of the big ones right now.
That's cool.
Awesome. Next, we're going to move to first appearances this week.
So, there's the first appearances of Amazing Spider-Man.
Marco, you can, if you could read this one.
Awesome. We'll cover this on the Star Wars show like we normally do. We've been telling you this book was coming out in a week, and we told you that these people will be coming out in a week. So
there you go. Tune in tomorrow, and Marco.
Yeah, no, it's cool. The two people on the cover, first appearance. There you go. There's more than just
last
that.
week when we said unnamed characters.
Yeah. The Herald is somebody who has been mentioned previously in a lot of the not like the actual novels. So for those people that have a hard time reading words, this is probably going to be your first introduction to him.
And Galactus as Herald as well.
Yeah. The bro comes from one of the major like enemy factions or families that seems like is being built around the High Republic. So we have some theories. I think we're going to have some theories on, because that's not the only row that shows up. I think we're going to have some, there's a lot of rows that show up in the High Republic in this phase. I think we're going to have some theories going on Sunday of why this row might be an important row.
Is this the row or is this the row?
No, the guy in the front is the Herald.
Is this the row we're looking for?
The guy in the back is the
blue. The blue is row.
But for those fans of the Nameless, the Nameless actually appear in here too, which is pretty fun. And if you listen to we're going to cover the audiobook on Sunday, and we will cover, I'm trying to not give it away because I think it's going to be an interesting show tomorrow. For those of you that didn't, it's the first time they've had a High Republic. No, they hit Tempest Runner.
I don't think Marco's biting at the BK comment.
No,
yeah, I don't care about BK.
He's not. He's
So, Kyle, I mean, BK might be a huge part of your chat, but for BK, for us, he's like one in thousands of chats. So he probably tries to hit like one out of every 500 of his little tidbits are good. You don't feed him when they're bad. You only feed him when he gets good ones. So
I thought that one was pretty good. So now we've got the Amazing Spider-Man number 17. It's the first team appearance in Insidious 6, a demonic version of the Sinister Six, and the first appearance and origin of Wreck Rap, a demonic Spider-Man variant. That sounds like we're never going to see them again.
Yeah. So another Marvel book
backwards, by the way.
What's that?
Wreck Rap is Parker spelled backwards. By the way.
I thought it was Pecker for a second.
Wow, I'm really glad I don't read Spider-Man.
Wow. Parker.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got
Red Rob.
Well, Marvel and Spider-Man means there's more first appearances. These seems like great ones. So we should be all buying 20 copies of this. Yes.
Yes.
Did anybody read that? No.
There is.
Yes. Ooh. No. Wait a minute. Take it back. Like Battletoads. He looks like Spider-Man Battletoads. I'm buying it.
Beefy.
Yeah. Yep.
Like a Venom.
No, he looks like Battletoad. Doesn't he look like a Battletoad?
It's the grin. You're just thinking the grin looks Battletoad.
He looks like Glutton.
Yeah.
Oh, with all the jacked up shit too.
The Battletoad. Well, Battletoads are a little more, I don't know, leaner, angular, like that, the long legs.
Yeah. Are there demonic versions of all the other Sinister Six too?
Why is Kang show up in this from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That's what I was thinking.
I think that's MODOK. No.
Krang?
No, dude, that's the fucking eye from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh
no, there's Krang's there, and then if you look at
he's Lopan knows.
What was the guys after Bebop and Rocksteady? What were the next two guys that came out?
Thank you.
Guys, these are all supposed to be.
Razor's down there. Good job, Harbin Razor. Yeah.
So the guy with the eyeball, that's
Dr.
Octoball.
What?
And then you got the grave goblin.
The demon.
Yeah, okay.
Holy shit! Nobody's actually reading this.
What about the Street Shark?
Triceratops.
That's the only one that reads Spider-Man.
Who the fuck would read this?
I still get them.
Scorpion.
I'm sure you're going to be talking about this tomorrow.
Oh my god!
There's a couple other first appearances in here too, which he obviously missed, but that's okay.
The first appearance of Moff Gideon's double chin.
That's not Moff Gideon. That's not Moff Gideon, but good try, Sam. Good stuff.
That's Brian's song.
But yeah, I mean, like, this is just
Apollo Creed.
This is just a mess of stuff.
That's Apollo Creed.
It is.
It is. No, that's who it is. That's actually who that is. That's a fucking Apollo Creed. Yeah.
Either that or it's Chubbs.
Yeah, or Chubbs, whoever you want to refer to it as.
Maybe
that's
you
who
got
that is.
yourself a stew.
This is the biggest waste of money ever because this is like they're gonna stretch this out to 12, and it's literally just garbage.
They're not. It's one per episode. No,
I don't know, man.
It's one per episode.
Is it?
It should be almost done.
No, because they combined the two with the prison one because they combined the breakout. Or no, they have the breakout coming up. Yeah, nobody should be buying Mandalorian. Let's just let you know that.
What is this? High Republic 2?
Hotter.
What name is DRRN?
It's not actually their first appearance. Jesus Christ. It names them for the first. Holy fuck. The Dank Granks. They showed up in the last, like they were the main antagonists in one, but okay, whatever.
Whatever you say, Macro.
It's members of Dank Granks.
Yeah, they actually this whole thing is based around the Dank Rakes and those members, those specific members getting in a fight with Sav's crew, which is really Max they're The orange one. What's her name? Kitana. The one that owns the pirate planet. Maz is Pirates
Maz
going.
Kosha, Mad Monk Uruj.
Hey, Maz.
No, Maz, the little orange character with the beady eyes. That
Lupita
one.
Nyong'o.
Yeah, her and her parrots get in a fight in the first book with these exact same dank cranks. Like that's the whole basis of this fucking thing.
BK's got a bit of stew going.
First appearance of
Lopez. What are these numbers you throw? Do you know the numbers actually mean something? I don't know what your numbers mean.
That's the combination to his high school locker.
Dude, he gave away his like birthday and his social security number the last 2 weeks, so it's probably his PIN code for like all his accounts.
You go to this locker, this high school. You can open up the locker.
All right, let's get into movie wars.
He put the fucking person in the wrong book. Oh my god. All right.
It's all right. It's all right. So last week I had Office Space versus Half Baked.
Oh, you didn't tell me to put these up.
To Pete, so he never put them up. So I just voted.
Yeah, because you didn't give them to me. Otherwise, I'd put them up.
Oh god, this is a hard one, man.
So I voted Office Space win. So
would go Office Space.
I'm Office Space.
Week, I'm doing Office Space versus Idiocracy.
Ugh.
I mean, if you're just going by the cover,
I'm still Office Space.
Idiocracy is so good though.
Idiocracy is fun, but I still quote Office Space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do all the time too.
Yeah.
Like I got an Initech mug at work. I don't have any Idiocracy memorabilia around.
Well, I think they left them in like 11 of them.
Yeah.
So Pete,
did you know John Cena's name was because he's Cena? Did you know that?
Yes. No, Idiocracy really was pulled at the last minute. They didn't realize that they were shitting on all the people that were sponsors. Then they found out and they cut it. So it didn't get nearly the views it should have.
What?
You're saying they're
What are you talking about?
the director's cut for
Idiocracy is
this?
sponsored by Taco Bell, Mountain Dew.
No, hey, Nod and Shake. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. So Office Space is going to win this one?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Idiocracy's good.
I don't know. Terry Crews is president. What was he? Was President? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
It was kind of
Some
funny.
Rodriguez or something.
Yeah, right. It was like Rodriguez.
Fertilizing the farms with Gatorade.
You mean that stuff that's in the back of the toilet?
Can't get the crops growing.
But
I like money.
Nai Ninajar. I don't know why it's so hard. Bob's. I don't know. I have a hard time with Office Space. Milton.
Dude,
and you had Dietrich Bader next door. Hey, Peter, man, put on Channel 9. It's the best exam.
The jump to conclusions.
The Pet Rock.
Like my favorite part
made $1 million.
It's still that when they come in and says, he has a problem with his TPS reports. Bob, I got this. And the other Bob's getting all pissed. Oh, dude. I don't know. For some reason, it's like my favorite part. Let me tell you about TPS reports.
Let me tell you about TPS reports.
I can't tell you how many times I'll say to my kids when they get their homework done, did you get your TPS reports done? They're like, what?
I got 4 bosses, Bob. What? Yeah. That's really the only incentive not to get hassled. Because if I do something wrong, I got 4 people coming by my desk telling me what I did wrong.
I do about 12 minutes of work a day.
Actual work. Zone out? Yeah, I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working.
Is that what Macro's doing right now?
I think so.
He's zoned out.
Yeah, I already voted for Office Space. I know you guys are just, it's funnier watching the actual movie than hearing you guys fucking repeat the lines.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Right. It is.
So let's do Cartoon Wars.
It's gonna be sad.
Last week it was Johnny Quest versus the Venture Brothers.
Like both.
Venture had to win, right?
I don't know what.
Yep. So now it's Venture Brothers versus Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty's going downhill.
I like Rick and Morty still. I don't think it's going downhill. I think it's still where it needs to be. I'm with Rick and Morty because Venture Brothers did unfortunately trail off at the end.
I think I've watched maybe 3 episodes of Rick and Morty.
Didn't the guy who make Rick and Morty his wife and now is kind of in trouble?
That's ridiculous.
What?
Which one?
3
I don't know. I
episodes.
don't watch Rick
Oh,
and
you're talking
Morty.
about Royland? Yeah.
Yeah, Royland or Harmon?
Harmon got in trouble for hitting on women at work. Royland got in trouble for domestic violence.
What are you talking about hitting on women at work?
Not you, Harper.
So those are the picks. I'm going to try to remember to get with Pete so he can actually put them up this week because we haven't put one up with Christmas.
Allegedly hit on.
Send it right after the show.
So that is this week's show. Triple D Dodgeball.
Oh, we actually do have some highlights, but let me.
Oh, good. While we get the highlights, can we also hear more? Can you guys say your favorite lines to Office Space 2? Can we do that?
Be careful what you wish for. You're being sarcastic.
You want? We can.
No,
you don't need $1 million to have that.
Christ.
What kind of chicks will double up on a guy like me do?
They say you miss a lot of work. Can't say that I'm missing
You're
it.
missing it, Bob.
All right, Kyle, I sent it to you in our messenger.
God damn it.
Marco sure definitely needs more flair.
God damn it, you're giving me work to do.
I got your flair right here.
Oh my god.
This is me expressing myself.
What is going on?
I'm still doing Office Space lines while we wait for the clip.
No. I'm looking at the chat.
I didn't put it in your chat. I put it in Kyle's chat.
Did you send it to?
No, I'm not looking at your chat.
So the Kyle and Sam only messenger.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know what? You know what we could talk about while we're getting that up is Thresholds of Reality. I sent a super chat on this other channel called Y-Files, and we got a ton of subscribers off of it.
Oh, cloud chasing, cool.
It was fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you been probed yet by an alien?
Have I been probed yet? No,
Yes.
I have not.
Has a ghost slept in your bed before?
No. Have you watched our show? No.
I did. I don't watch. I don't watch the internet, so I.
That only happens to Kyle.
Yeah, why would I? I thought that's what it was about, wasn't it? Don't you guys talk about like supernatural stuff and aliens sleeping in your bedrooms and stuff like that?
Oh, macro. I think you got to watch the show, man.
Hey, Sam, I'm giving you an opportunity to promo to the show to the audience. Way to drop the ball, buddy.
You got to watch the show.
Oh, fuck.
If you watch the show, they'll watch the show.
Oh my god, no, they won't. I mean, I will.
All right, here we go.
They might.
All right.
Oh, still at the high school.
This is
Boom.
nice.
He comes at him. He's got three
Is it the
balls,
backhand?
comes at him, 2 overhands.
This is what we're doing?
Boom, walks right into the backhand. My man Tyler.
Nice.
Great play.
Can we expand this and make this like a real playoff? What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Did he hit him in the face and the nuts? What's going on?
Shoulder.
It was a backhand play, so
He
he
was a
threw
sneaky
2
throw.
overhand and then turns around like he's going to go after a ball, and he hits him with the backhand.
Yeah, I think this will catch it. I think this zoom in. I think this will catch it.
Yeah, there we go. Zoom in. This is what I want to see. All right. Let's see the fast action. Call it. Play for play, Sam. So who's this guy?
This
Is he wearing
is Tyler.
sleeves?
Tyler's on
Tyler.
the right in the orange shirt.
All right, let's run
Monte's
back.
on
Run
the
back,
left
run
in the
back.
green.
Tyler's. Hey, rewind it. Stop. Here we go.
We got sports center it up for us, Sam.
Hey, Tyler. Typically, he's been having a tough season. He's had 0
Tyler's great.
knockouts in the
Tyler's
last
an
8
amazing
games, but he's cut off his sleeves. He's wearing the orange sleeveless shirt. He has come to play. His famous move is the backhand. Can he do it? Let's see if he can do the backhand throw.
A brand new move.
In 3,
He just
2.
debuted it.
Brand new moves being debuted. And watch him. He's got it. No sleeves. 2 balls. Wicked throw.
Suckers it in.
Bah! What? Nope. Misses. Comes back. Puts some grease from his beard onto the second hand. What's he going to do here? And, backhands the guy right into the nudulars.
Over.
Game over, and ducks the blue balls. He ducks the blue balls, folks, in the end. What an awesome play to end the championship. Walk off. Back end. Beard glued ball.
Hey, you know that's not bad.
Should be out the blue balls, bro.
Commentary. You should do commentary for us.
There he goes. Blue balls bouncing everywhere. Good job, boys.
That's it, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I'd like to thank our guest.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Marco for coming and hanging out with us.
You're welcome for me being a guest. I appreciate it. Thank you for the nod.
And on that note.